This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Showers and 14 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
As of 6 last night, the SA and Victoria border was closed. Premier Stephen Marshall says anyone wanting to come home or relocate will need a special exemption from SA Health.
Our decision to strengthen our arrangements with Victoria was really on the back of Victoria themselves moving into a lockdown situation. We are concerned about the situation with the Delta variant in Victoria, in particular the number of new cases that are out and about in the community.
SA will trial a new type of quarantine this week. Interstate and selected overseas travellers will undertake the home quarantine program. The pilot scheme involves electronic monitoring. New South Wales COVID crisis continues to deteriorate with a record 830 cases yesterday. Millions of residents in hotspot suburbs are now subject to a nighttime COVID curfew. Nine's Clinton Maynard reports.
Since midnight, a curfew is applied to anyone living in 12 LGAs, which include the hotspot suburbs of Penberthy. Since 5, the curfew has been lifted, but from 9 o'clock tonight, it resumes. Authorised workers are permitted to leave home, and there are exemptions for emergencies and medical reasons. From today, residents in those LGAs are also limited to an hour's exercise a day, and mask rules outdoors apply for the whole state today. Meanwhile, public transport is mainly running to weekend timetables again because of the increasing number of transport workers forced to isolate.
Hopes of finding a missing man who fell into the River Murray on the weekend are fading. The 72-year-old from Paringa didn't resurface late Saturday afternoon. It happened just north of Renmark. The search will resume this morning. United Nations agencies have warned world leaders Afghanistan is facing an absolute catastrophe unless there's urgent humanitarian efforts. UN spokeswoman Catherine Stubberfield says 3.5 million people are displaced across the country.
More than 500,000 were displaced just since January, and they have acute immediate needs, things like food, shelter, clean water, healthcare. And as this situation continues, of course, those needs will also evolve and eventually they will need more.
It's hoped a scientific breakthrough could improve IVF success rates. Nine's Meg Van Lohausen has more.
Australian scientists are hoping to build a test that could detect a woman's ideal window for pregnancy. Despite IVF embryos being carefully selected, many high-quality embryos still failed to implant. RMIT and Monash IVF researchers have discovered the absence of a Teflon-like molecule, which prevents embryos from sticking, is key. It's hoped the molecule can be turned into a treatment for unexplained infertility.
And Don Everly of the Everly Brothers died over the weekend at the age of 84. They were the first group to be inaugurated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986, and they had a string of hits, including this one.
Wake up, hey Susie, wake up. We've both been sound asleep. Wake up, hey Susie, and weep.
Now to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with some football. Adelaide has sent off Tom Lynch and Dave McKay out as winners following a 44-point thumping of North Melbourne at Adelaide Oval. Coach Matthew Nix pleased with the output from his players.
Yeah, really pleasing way to finish the season off. Especially that last 15 minutes, it was, nice to see the guys. I thought they played well the entire game, but I thought in the last quarter they got back to what we've been doing really well this year in patches.
Port Adelaide finished the year in second spot and will host Geelong in the second qualifying final on Friday night. The Brisbane Lions have finished fourth and will have the double chance. The Lions will play minor premiers Melbourne also at Adelaide Oval on Saturday night. It's the first time in 12 seasons that a Western Australian side hasn't made the finals. Let's go to tennis, and Ash Barty has won the Cincinnati Open in convincing style. Nine's Craig Gabriel has more.
Barty took just 72 minutes to claim her 5th title of the year. Apart from a minor hiccup when she served for the title, the world number 1 outclassed Jill Teichmann 6-3, 6-1. At one stage, Barty won 9 of 10 points, and she claimed 8 consecutive games. Ash is the 4th Australian woman to win this title in the Open era. The last was Yvonne Goolagong in 1973, and Barty will start her 90th week as world number 1.
Yeah, she's going brilliantly. And in the English Premier League overnight, Chelsea's beaten Arsenal 2-0. Tottenham had a 1-0 win over the Wolverhampton side, while Manchester United was held to a 1-1 draw against Southampton. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers and 14 for your Monday. Tomorrow a possible shower 14, then 15 with a shower or two on Wednesday. Right now it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries whatever the weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast. We're off to the US before 7 o'clock this morning. We'll talk music after 6:30. The Premier of South Australia, Stephen Marshall, will join us. Lots to talk about with the Premier, from AFL finals to new home detention technology. Home detention, home quarantine. It's a fine line, isn't it? That was a Freudian one for first thing on a Monday morning. And then after 8 o'clock today, we'll talk about the prospect of a referendum on shop trading hours. And the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch, will join us. Good morning to you, Mr. Penberthy.
Good morning, Mr. Goodings. Very formal start of the week. Is that some new arrangement we've got, is it? We're going to address each other by our titles.
Yeah, I figure we try and give things a little bit more respect.
There probably was a period in broadcasting when people did say that.
Absolutely they did.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Goodings.
Yeah, I think they...
Hello, and welcome to the 5AA Breakfast Show. Back in the day when Bradman hits 4.
Yeah.
Had to have the pencil there. Great work in the commentary yesterday, Will. Tell you what, nice and clearly a very different vibe around both the victories. One, yesterday's, points to hopefully a rosy future in the medium term, maybe even the short term. One, however, points, I think, to potentially the highest glory in the very short term. Port coming really good at the right time. But I tell you what, I really have, and I'm on the record of saying this, particularly after the Euros this year, watched a bit of EPL Saturday night, I've really been off AFL. This round, though, this was almost the round that saved Aussie rules football in my eyes. What an extraordinary weekend of results.
I'm just not sure there's ever been a final round that's been so exciting. I think often, this is why I hate the pre-finals bye, because I think quite often they're boring. Because most of the positions have been resolved. There'll be so many games of no consequence, or top teams playing bottom teams, people shelving blokes and putting them in for a 2-week rest. It's generally boring, I reckon. But this round, Port Bulldogs, 2-point margin. You had the Melbourne-Geelong game that was the kick after the siren. You had the Brisbane-West Coast game. That the margin wasn't exciting, but the requirement that Brisbane had to get a margin that met their percentage went over Bulldogs and knocked them out of the top 4. That was exciting as well. It was a fascinating final round.
And now the excitement for Adelaide is twofold this weekend, because and we're going to be asking the Premier, not that it's his decision, it's the Stadium Management Authority in consultation with SA Health. But 2 finals, currently the cap is 15,000, but Port from Koshy down, everyone is saying, please, come on. And you would have to think that the fact that on Friday they announced changes to things like home visits, it's gone from 10 to 20, that could enable some more liberal thinking around crowd numbers at the footy for both the Port game this Friday night and then the so it's Geelong Brisbane on.
No, it's the Melbourne game Saturday night.
Oh, the Melbourne game Saturday night.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's the Melbourne game Saturday night. So it starts at 7 o'clock, and that one.
So Melbourne Brisbane Saturday night, Port Geelong Friday night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. So does that mean that any punter is going to be able to go along, provided you can get your hands on tickets?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that yet.
How good would that be? Going to see?
Be terrific. It would
Melbourne,
be terrific. Do you genuinely think they're going to up the crowd cap for this weekend? Because I'm not convinced.
I reckon they will.
I'm not convinced. I've got.
Why
this,
won't they?
Because I think they're just locked in this mode of impending doom at the moment, and I just.
But it's not people from interstate coming.
Yeah, it's not people from interstate coming over your house either.
Yeah.
And how many can you have? 15, 20.
How's the old road map looking, do you think?
I think the roadmap is something we need to address with the Premier after 7:30
totally.
today. Yeah, Jane's called in. Morning to you, Jane.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks,
well.
Jane.
I don't think the Crows are out of this grand final race yet.
Grand final race?
No, because we might put a bit of a spoke in the wheel with Essendon and Melbourne both being coached by former Crows players.
Oh, do we get to claim those ones?
How would that? I don't know whether it's possible that they could play off, but wouldn't that be lovely?
Oh, there's an idea,
that's
Jane.
good.
You got Ben Rutten, Simon Goodwin, former Crows, both in the team of the greatest team of the last 30 years as well.
Yes.
I don't mind that idea, Jane. I think we can count that. So the third premiership will be on the way to West Lakes if Essendon or Melbourne win the premiership. Look, I'm happy to claim it. That's tremendous work.
Well, let's ask people what they think. Do people think that the crowd for AFL should go up for the finals?
Yep, absolutely. Let us know. 8223 or text us on the Telstra Storm at Barker text line 0448 08 1395.
If you want to feel great about the milk you pour in your tea and coffee, over your cereal or in your smoothie, make sure it's from the Flurio Milk Company, because it's a great feeling buying from people who love SA as much as you do. 3 words make all the difference. Flurio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. Phew, feel like a cuppa now.
Flurio Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FlurioMilkCo.com.au.
Greyhound Racing SA could be shouting you dinner. All you need is 3 greyhounds from Box 8 to win. Book a group of 4 or more for dinner for the Angle Park 8's promotion at the Angle Park Greyhounds on a Thursday night, and if 3 dogs wearing number 8 win on the night, you have the entire value of your booking refunded. That's right, free. Some T's and C's apply. Bookings must be made by 11 a.m. the Monday prior. Gamble responsibly. Visit chasers.net.au for more.
$1 mattress upsize deal now at Harvey Norman. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen-size mattress or ensemble from King Coil, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker or Beauty Rest, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king size. Support local manufacturers and buy Australian-made. That's right. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen mattress or ensemble, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king. In-store purchases only. $1 mattress upsize deal on now at Harvey Norman.
Posting the job ad, wading through applications. Hiring at the moment can feel huge, right? Well, think of a Seek job ad as an extra pair of hands. Our job ads can show you the best people first, and that's just one of their great features. It makes sense. The best job ads find the best people.
Where you put your eyes, that's about the size.
Visit seek.com.au/best job ad.
Exclusive to Adelaide.
Round the corner.
3 of Australia's finest live on stage.
Been back tonight.
Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano and David Campbell in The Ultimate Event. Performing alone and together with a 50-piece orchestra and 9-piece band, Adelaide, this really is the ultimate event. One night only, October 23, reserved seating at the Village Green, Adelaide Oval. Book now at Ticketek.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Every time that you walk in the...
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
14 minutes after 6. We'll get into the news headlines in a moment. What are the early returns on the Telstra Storm at Barker text line looking like in terms of what people want with regard to crowd numbers this weekend?
There's one here from Jeremy saying the Gabba was at 75% on Saturday. They've had more recent outbreaks than SA and current cases, and they're barely an hour from the New South Wales border. Trev just simply says, morning boys, let's up the numbers and get on with living. Guy in Highgate says, look, good morning all. As the lockdowns in Melbourne and Sydney drag on, the behaviour of the Covidiots gets worse. The disgraceful and moronic freedom rallies on Saturday compel me to draw on my inner Daryl Kerrigan. Good on you, Guy. Not really about the footy, but more about those scenes.
Well, that leads us off in the news headlines this morning. 9 people were arrested Dozens of others slapped with fines after an anti-lockdown protest on the Queensland-New South Wales border. About 2,000 people turned out for the protests in Coolangatta and Tweed yesterday, including a man riding a horse. New South Wales police arrested 8 people, handed out more than 50 fines. Queensland police made 1 arrest.
7 police were injured in the protests in Victoria. But at the same time, it's pretty interesting when it gets to the point where Australian police are using rubber bullets on a crowd. Well, not rubber bullets, they were sort of synthetic bullets. Pellets. God almighty, like, the world was unrecognisable from what it was 2 years ago, isn't it? If someone said there'd be people being fired at by the cops outside Young and Jackson Hotel for not wearing masks to prevent a global pandemic or using QR codes, you just go, yeah, right, you've been reading too much sci-fi.
I can't imagine being so irate about a public policy direction that you'd want to go and belt a cop.
No.
That's one of the... There were people at the Melbourne one that, when they broke through, wanted to maximise carnage yesterday, and they were targeting police officers. Sectioning them off and 3 or 4 people taken to them. Guys had broken noses, got concussions. Yeah,
but you would have seen some of those TikToks doing the rounds of some of the people who are into this stuff. It's like the sort of, the storming of the Congress sort of people. People are just totally out there on the edge, think the government's some vast conspiracy.
Yep.
Although, I also think, though, that there'd be some people there, and certainly some people in the community who didn't go, but in their heart of hearts, don't mind these protests, who go, I've lost so much money, or I've lost my job, I'm in the private sector, the people running this don't get
I actually think there are legitimate forms of protest, and people have got legitimate things to raise gripes about when it comes to how this whole business has been handled. I think the issue you get, though, and maybe it's an unavoidable one, and I'm not holding the people that are just legitimately raising a gripe to account for this, but the people that exist on the fringe feel emboldened when they're standing in a crowd of a couple of thousand people, because the little circuits in their brain that think there is a global conspiracy and people are being injected with 5G chips suddenly go, the revolution's happening. Yes, finally, look, everyone gets it. But a lot of people there are saying, hey, I'm about to go broke because no one gives a stuff about my small business, which is different to thinking, Bill Gates is controlling my brain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
South Australia slammed shut its border with Victoria at 6 o'clock yesterday. It means anyone now wanting to come home or relocate will need a special exemption from SA Health. Once approved, returning residents must still quarantine for 14 days, undertake 3 COVID tests. The decision comes as Victoria struggles to contain its latest outbreak, the daily case numbers exceeding 60. Sydney's 12 hotspot LGAs are now subject to tighter lockdown rules as the COVID crisis there deepens. A curfew now applies from 9 p.m. till 5 a.m. Authorised workers can leave home. Residents can for emergencies or for medical treatment. Outdoor mask rules apply for the entire state.
How long has it taken them to get to that point? It's pathetic.
Nearly 1,000 cases in a day is how long it's taken them.
Just extraordinary.
There have been chaotic scenes outside Kabul airport where 7 people have been killed in stampedes while trying to flee Afghanistan after the Taliban retook control. More than 300 Australians and Afghan visa holders have been evacuated from Afghanistan. Here's US President Joe Biden.
24-hour period this weekend, 23 U.S. military flights, including 14 C-17s, 9 C-130 flights, left Kabul carrying 3,900 passengers. We see no reason why this tempo will not be kept up.
This is some sad news in the music world. Don Everly, the surviving member of the rock and roll duo the Everly Brothers, has died at the age of 84.
Very sad.
Fans of the Everly Brothers, stay tuned after 6:30. We've got a little Andy's List to celebrate their music coming up.
We're still getting a stack of texts coming through about the football finals question. The early texts were positive. We're also getting a lot from the other side, though, things like this from Matt. If the Adelaide Oval crowd numbers increase, I've lost faith in the advice SA Health provides. We can have no royal show, but the AFL gets special treatment.
A lot of people were saying that online over the weekend.
The royal show is the really harsh counterexample. So 10,000 a day was the advice from SA Health. Sorry, you can have 10,000 a day at the royal show. You can already have 15 at the footy.
Both open-air events.
Yeah. Well, the SA Health would say, well, that's because we know exactly where everyone's sitting at the footy.
That's true.
Sally says, Dave and Will, I'm getting tired of the inconsistencies. Yesterday we saw the Premier announcing we needed a hard border with Victoria, given the increase in cases. In the next breath, he was announcing he would be hosting multiple AFL finals with Melbourne teams. So what is it? Is Victoria a threat, or are AFL footballers in Victoria immune from COVID?
I think if Tom Doedee was sitting here, he would explain the lengths to which they have had to live that prevent them from being in the community. Now, I get it. As far as a PR exercise, I think it's a disaster for a government when you're bringing AFL players into the environment. But I think the reality is they get multiple COVID tests a week and they're not allowed to go anywhere or do anything while they're playing.
Yeah,
those are the circumstances that allow this to happen.
They're as good as in detention, those blokes.
Yeah. Scientists have identified 6 personality types which can play a role in diet and weight loss. CSIRO researchers have analysed the behaviour and emotions of more than 245,000 people. The study's co-author, Dr. Gilly Hendry, says knowing what drives eating habits can help customise eating plans.
We know dieting's not one size fits all. So by understanding how people tick, we can personalise strategies for them a little bit more easily. Picking strategies that may align with how they think and feel is probably going to be easier for them to sort of follow through on their diet.
The weather today, top of just 14. It's cool. There's a fair bit of rain that's already come in. We'll check in with the Bureau in about 20 minutes' time, but up to 8 mils of forecast. Tomorrow, 14 just the top again, minimum of 7 overnight, but not too much rain about the place. Wednesday, the top of 15. Thursday, a top of 15, but a minimum of 5 overnight. That'll be a cool morning on Thursday morning. Friday, a top of 19. That is the pick of the week thus far. Saturday will be 17, up to 3 mils of rain. And Sunday, 17 with just a sprinkle.
Did you know that South Australia was the first place to legalise nude swimming? And more than just churches, Adelaide was originally known as the city of pubs and churches. True. And did you know that Automasters is Australia's fastest growing automotive service and repair group, with over 75 branches across Queensland, South Australia and WA. So switch and save on logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Both are experts at what they do, so they've formed an alliance to help you. Whether you're buying or selling a business or somewhere in between, they'll work together, making sure the business you're going to sell or buy is in top shape. Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Experts in business support and sales. Ready to help you achieve your goals. Call them today, 8300 0000.
To stand the test of time, you need to be tough, made of the good stuff. You need style and tons of character. Just like a Playford paver. Playford Pavers, one of the few companies that still make their own pavers for driveways, outdoor entertaining areas or paths in a great range of colours and textures. And because Playford Pavers make their own, you'll always pay less. Visit playfordpavers.com.au. playfordpavers.com.au.
When a human body is submerged in water heated to 34 degrees Celsius, the body experiences almost weightlessness. This optimises movement and helps provide relief from most forms of chronic pain like arthritis and recovery after major surgeries like knee or hip replacements. Adelaide Hydrotherapy is a new aquatic complex staffed by highly experienced physios and exercise physiologists who can help manage your chronic pain. Speak to your GP about a referral to Adelaide Hydrotherapy and start feeling better today.
Hi, Crystal here from Southside Suzuki. If you're looking for an incredible deal on a new or used Suzuki, then pop in and see me and my team at Southside Suzuki. The Suzuki range of new cars are value-packed and backed by a 5-year warranty, cap price servicing and roadside assistance, should you ever need it. View our range online or visit us at Southside Suzuki, Beach Road, Christie's Beach.
Life's a beach, Southside Suzuki.
LVD 2009.
You can't go past the IGA Big Deal Sale for great specials right across the store. Like Connoisseur Gourmet Ice Cream, 1 litre selected varieties, only $5.50 each. That's half price. Now at your local IGA. Offer ends August 24. Participating stores only. Excludes Foodland.
So now you know who was the first to legalise nude swimming. You also know how to switch and save with Automasters. Logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service service guaranteed.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries' Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes after 6. A few more texts coming through on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. Is an idea. Allow fully vaccinated people to attend the AFL finals in Adelaide with 50% capacity, says one. How many...
Fully? That's a bit harsh, though, at this early stage. I mean, there's people in Will's age bracket who would have been double vaccinated if only for the fact that Pfizer only became available to them 2 weeks ago. See, the problem with people not being double vaccinated overwhelmingly is not that people are lazy or fearful. People would walk over broken glass to get vaccinated twice. They just haven't been able to. That's the chief problem in this country.
Yep.
You know, it's not a race.
And the other thing is, and this is the really difficult point for people to get their heads around, doesn't stop transmission.
No.
Doesn't stop transmission. And the issue would be, even if it then becomes widespread amongst 50,000, let's say, vaccinated people, then they're going to go back out into the community. So I'm not sure that model necessarily works when there's such a low rate of vaccination across the broader community that you can start just doing vaccine-controlled events to this point in time. But keep the ideas coming in. It's interesting to see what people think about the prospect of increasing numbers this weekend. Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line 0448 08 1395. Tom Wren is in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Save it to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Boys, we normally go with our winners and losers and try and keep it to like a top three, but it's tough to do this weekend because there were so many good moments. So I'll try and do it in the scope of doing all the football ones together. So winners from the weekend, and I'll lump these all as one football winner. Tom Lynch, Dave McKay yesterday. Great call, Will. Those goals in the final quarter. Also throw in Max Gawn and Brisbane. I mean, those finishes to those two games on Saturday twilight and then Saturday evening were just incredible.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
And then Adelaide Oval. I'm sure some people aren't happy that we've got finals, but I think Adelaide Oval with two finals for the opening weekend of the final series is great. But it was an incredible round 23 and Port Adelaide on Friday night. I mean, it was just remarkable.
Port's win should shut up their doubters, shouldn't it?
I think so. It goes some way, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they beat a top four side.
What about Travis Boak?
Unbelievable. He gets the 3 votes for sure. Ollie Wines probably 1, maybe 2. That was a great win for Port, just to cement that top 2 spot.
How'd you be being a Bulldog supporter, crikey?
Well, they've been top for most of the second half of the year, and now they're 5th.
Well, you look at that team every time I look at that team on paper, I think, well, that's the premiership favourite.
They don't have a real ruckman, though, do they?
They haven't delivered the last couple of weeks. English is reasonable. I mean, he's better around the ground than he is doing the tap work. Their issue is Josh Bruce getting injured because their forward line suddenly looks...
Yeah,
it looked a bit impotent in his absence.
Yeah, and they are a side that can win 4 on the trot, so if anyone can do it from outside the 4, I think it is them.
They did it last time. That's how they won. They came from the bottom 4, didn't they?
Yep, in 2016. Other winners from the weekend, Ash Barty. I mean, we're talking about Cincinnati Masters. She's a huge chance to win the US Open, which begins in a week's time, so... That's massive. She just is dominating at the moment. And Ange Postecoglou I've got as a winner. He's made it 6 in a row for Celtic, and they won 6-0.
I think it's 2 in a row they've won 6-0.
He is killing it at the moment for Celtic.
There's nothing funnier than reading the comments on social media from diehard Scottish football fans, Celtic fans about Ange Postecoglou because. Geez, you think football fans of this town have swings and roundabouts. Crikey, you read 1 week, the bloke's a moron. I got this Australian idiot. What do they know about football? He's a clown. And then the next week, there's all these Scottish memes of people talking about the guy's he's a legend. I've never seen him play better. It's like the 1960s all over again. It's very funny.
It is funny, you're right. Sticking with the World Game theme for the losers, Arsenal, they are dreadful. They're in a world of hurt. I don't think Mikel Arteta, who's their coach and was a great player of the club, I don't think he'll last a month. He's going that badly. And it's 2 games in. They can't score. They look impotent, talking about that. I just can't see it.
He's brand new, isn't he?
Well, he managed for most of last season as well, and they finished in mid-table. I mean, that's just not acceptable for a club as big as Arsenal. They're dreadful. The Bulldogs and Fremantle, they were my big losers. Fremantle were dreadful yesterday. I thought they were shocking. The
They had
Doggies,
it all to play for too.
and they had it all to play for. And the other loser, I think, who just isn't going that great at the moment, and it looks like there has to be a change made, is Justin Langer. I know Matthew Hayden came out in a spirited defence of him, but the culture doesn't seem right there at all. There's a lot of unrest between senior players and the coach, and when that's happening, I think something's got to give.
Are our senior players any good?
That's the other problem.
I mean, that to me seems
They
to
seem
be
to be massively up themselves.
Well, I don't know why.
Yeah, well,
what are we happy being the third best test nation in the world these days? Are we? Is that
about
the
the
standard
eighth.
that slipped?
About the 8th best T20 side. And
I always have a problem with teams who haven't achieved anything not liking their coach. Generally speaking.
yes, yes.
Good on you, Rennie.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That's an
boys.
excellent point.
Save up to $400.
If it wasn't for the boss.
Yeah, I know everything. Yeah, that's right.
He's bloody out, isn't he?
Save up to $400 on selected ASCO dishwashers. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Power's out at the Bowden Brompton area. 2,600 people without power at the moment. The good news, though, is this. It should be on in about 14 minutes' time. SA Power Network saying it'll be restored at 6:45 a.m.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 14 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
In an Australian first, SA will launch a trial home quarantine program this week for selected interstate and overseas arrivals. State-of-the-art electronic monitoring will keep tabs on up to 50 people. The scheme involves geolocation and live facial recognition technology via Wi-Fi. The trial will be managed by SA Health and SAPOL. Meantime, South Australians in Victoria will now have to apply to come home. The new border restrictions came into force from 6 last night. Hundreds of workers at Royal Melbourne Hospital are being furloughed after potentially coming into contact with a COVID-infected patient. Nine's Isabella Stokowski reports.
More than 400 staff are this morning in isolation after a Shepparton man unknowingly brought COVID to the Royal Melbourne Hospital. Several staff, patients and visitors have already been infected. The man wasn't tested before heart surgery he had more than 10 days ago because Shepparton wasn't a high-risk area at the time. It was a requirement to test everyone last year, and that will now be reinstated. ICU, radiology and the cardiac ward have been exposed, while there are calls to now make the vaccine mandatory for all healthcare workers.
Arrests have been made and people fined following an anti-lockdown protest on the Queensland-New South Wales border. Nine's Jessica Millwood has more.
In total, 9 people were arrested, 1 from Queensland, 8 from New South Wales. 2,000 people clashed with police at the border, calling for an end to the tough new border restrictions that see thousands of people locked out of Queensland, away from families and away from their businesses. The protesters say that they will return unless changes are made.
The US is calling in commercial planes to help with evacuating people out of Afghanistan. The Pentagon says the aircraft will not fly to Kabul, but will move people transiting in third countries. More than 28,000 people have now been evacuated by coalition forces in less than 2 weeks. President Joe Biden says the operation is gathering pace.
24-hour period this weekend, 23 U.S. military flights, including 14 C-17s, 9 C-130 flights, left Kabul carrying 3,900 passengers. We see no reason why this tempo will not be kept up.
A person's personality can help or hinder efforts to lose weight. A CSIRO study has analysed the behaviour and emotions of more than 245,000 people. The study's Dr. Gilly Hendry says they found 6 main personality types, including foodies and socialisers.
The foodie is passionate about all things food, including the experiences of preparing food, cooking good quality meals, and they love variety of healthy foods. A socialiser is a person who needs flexibility. They love having people around, but they can't have this being too restrictive in case it stifles their social situation.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected ASCO dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide has finished off its season with a win after taking care of North Melbourne by 44 points. The result means the Crows rise to 15th, which also means they now have pick 4 in the draft as opposed to 2. The first week of the AFL Finals will be played in Adelaide and Tasmania. Crowd capacity at Adelaide Oval on Friday and Saturday nights will be capped at 15,000. The opening match of the finals will begin with Port Adelaide hosting Geelong, while Melbourne will take on Brisbane in Adelaide on Saturday night. A maximum of 10,000 can attend each of the finals in Launceston. Essendon will play the Western Bulldogs on Sunday, and Bombers coach Ben Rutten says if it's anything like last time, it will still feel like a home game.
We've already played down in Tasmania against Hawthorn, and the way our supporters down there and our members showed up to that game was, it felt like a home game for us, and we're really encouraging all our Essendon supporters down there to get around it and really support the game, which I know they will.
A 13th career title for Ash Barty overnight after she smashed Jill Teichmann in straight sets to take out the Cincinnati Masters. She didn't drop a set for the entire tournament. Another horror start in the EPL season for Arsenal after suffering a 2-0 loss at home against Chelsea. The Gunners have failed to score a goal in their opening 2 games for the season while Chelsea's on top. Elsewhere, Tottenham had a 1-0 win over Wolverhampton. Manchester United was held to a 1-1 draw against Southampton, while Brighton beat Watford 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers and a top of 14 today. Tomorrow a possible shower 14. Wednesday a shower or 2 15. Right now it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
She's got a ticket to ride.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 to 7, as you've just heard in 5AA News. It's a cool start to the day. 8.4 outside at the moment makes us almost the coolest capital in Australia this morning, picked by Perth, which doesn't always happen. They're at 8.2,
Perth.
so we're pretty close.
I remember Perth.
Yeah.
I think I went there once.
Are they still part of the country?
Not sure.
Maybe we are the coolest capital in mainland Australia.
Actually, I did only go to Perth once. I went there for one day for a funeral. It's very sad. Many years ago. Matt Price.
I went there to see the footy once, a couple of years ago. It's the
Oh,
only
the
time I've
Freo
been there.
game.
You have the Freo game at Optus Stadium.
When it had just opened.
Yeah. I'm going to have an Australian passport to go there next time, I suspect.
I've been to Broome. Went to Broome for a week.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Many years ago.
Can we keep Broome as part of the
1995.
country?
Yeah, there's an argument for that.
I think we could do that, couldn't we?
Well,
we still have the greatest share of the armed forces.
El Generalissimo over there, Mark McGowan.
I think we must need to
Premier for life.
Annex Broome, and they can have the rest. Now, some sad news in the music world. Don Everly, the last surviving member of the Everly Brothers, died at the age of 84. Passed away at his home in Nashville. It was confirmed by a spokesman for his family. No cause of death was given. And to celebrate the Everly Brothers, Andy's put together a list of the top 5 Everly Brothers songs. Number 5.
The movie's over, it's 4 o'clock and we're in trouble deep. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up, little Susie. Well, what are we gonna tell your mom?
Number 4.
Bye-bye love. Bye-bye happiness. Hello loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye love.
In third spot.
Walk right back to me this minute. Bring your love to me, don't send it. I'm so lonesome every day.
Number 2.
Want your kisses, that's for sure. I die each time I hear this sound. Here he comes, that's Kathy's clown.
And the number 1 Everly Brothers song on Andy's list.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you. In my arms when I want you. And all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. Dream, dream.
They released 21 studio albums, and from 57 to 62 had 15 top 10 hits, a couple of which you've just heard there. They were big influences on the Beatles. Simon and Garfunkel were introduced into the Hall of Fame in 1986. alongside Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard and Buddy Holly. It was a pretty decent class for the Hall of Fame.
Listening to those brothers sing then and reflecting on what passes for so much popular song right now, you wonder how many of the artists who are currently successful could actually survive without auto-tune.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
You know,
you can hear it in every song these days.
Yeah, you can. And like, you know, the first thing so many people do when they go into the world of music is like, okay, you know, what gear are we using? By which I mean computer gear. You know, those guys, and the sort of sparseness of the songs too, like the way they're arranged, where
there's nowhere to hide, is there?
No,
it's just the vocal.
But they sound like one person singing, don't they? That's extraordinary.
But for people, you can pick once you hear auto tune and someone points it out to you, you'll never. It's like something you can't unsee.
Yeah,
it's that electronic tinny sound that voices suddenly take on. Certainly when they get to that sort of upper register, you can and there's an artificial element to it, and it basically means you don't have to be a great singer to be a successful recording artist these days.
No,
really.
Would have been handy if we had that at karaoke on Thursday. Actually, hindsight.
The
Lord Mayor and I could have done with a bit of auto-tune.
There's some charm to hearing it done, you know, old school. I liked it. 19 minutes to 7.
Music in its most primitive state.
That's right. Hey, if you're in the Bowden-Brompton area and you've been without power and you listen to us on a battery-powered radio or some other clever way over your phone or something or other, if the power doesn't come on the next 3.5 minutes, let us know. 8223 0000 because it's set to come back at 6:45. This morning, according to their website. So that'll be after we've checked traffic and come back from the ad break. If it's not the case, let us know, because you should be back on as we speak. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and our Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Oaklands Park, got a smash on Diagonal Road at Sturt Road. Urbro got a car rollover on the freeway down track just after the lower arrest bed. Got a lane block there, and also got a few blackouts in and around Brompton this morning, so take some extra care around there. Northfield expect delays on Grange Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works affecting both directions. Speeds are 25. And cameras this morning, Dyson Road, Christie's Beach, Hillier Road, Ranella, and Horrocks Highway at Roseworthy. Until September 1, Specsavers is giving everyone with health cover $50 off lens options like anti-smudge, polarisation and more. You don't even need extras cover. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
I don't really like talking on radio, but I do like talking about our cows at the FIVEaa Milk Company. And I love helping support SA dairy farmers. They're a great bunch with beautiful families. They work day and night to produce the best milk in SA. So when you're in the supermarket, look for FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. I'm getting good at this.
FIVEaa Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FLURIOMilkco.com.au.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's licence? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Just when you thought you'd chosen your next car, the Kia online ordering system is here. Order your brand new Kia from the comfort of your own home, and one of our trusted dealers will deliver your new car right to your doorstep. It's never been easier. And with Australia's best 7-year warranty, it's easy to see why more people are choosing Kia than ever before. For more information on how you can order your new Kia online, visit kia.com/au.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So, how much did you say your hearing aids are?
Yes, we do have hearing aids.
Yes. So how much are they?
It is a lovely day, isn't it?
How much are your hearing aids?
Oh, why didn't you just ask? Purple, definitely.
This is ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
Should have gone to Specsavers, because hearing aids shouldn't have hidden prices. For everyday low prices and straight up advice, visit specsavers.com.au/hearing.
Millions of us have chosen to arm ourselves against COVID-19. Who will you arm yourself for?
My family.
My community.
The people I care for.
My mob.
My customers.
My country.
Book your vaccination today at australia.gov.au or call 1800 020 080. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Don't miss Olympic Industries' Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
15 minutes to 7. We've had a car rollover on the freeway this morning. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes at SAPOL has the latest for us. What's happened, Rebecca?
Good morning. Yes, this car's rolled 3 times on the freeway this morning. Miraculously, the driver was able to walk away from the crash with only a blood nose, but it is causing some problems for people on the downtrack coming into the city. The crash happened on the downtrack of the Southeastern Freeway at Urbray just before the toll gate about 4:45 a.m. They are still trying to clean up that scene. It's a Subaru Liberty sedan, and it rolled several times, ended up on its roof. He's a 21-year-old Mount Barker man. He's been issued with an expiation notice for failing to maintain control of his vehicle. The speed limit on the freeway has been reduced to 40 past the crash scene. They're still waiting on the tow there and also to clean up an oil spill. Traffic management crews just arrived there to help with that clean-up. So it still will be a while longer to clear that.
Rebecca, also, this is getting pretty disturbing. The search is continuing today for the elderly man missing in the Riverland.
Yes, the alarm was raised about 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon after a man was seen to fall from a tinny and didn't resurface in the Murray River near Renmark, about 5 kilometres north of Renmark. The search was launched immediately. It then continued yesterday, and they searched all day with local police, water operations, SES boats and volunteers searching both on and in the water and along the riverbanks. The search concluded late last night. Unfortunately, the man's not yet been located, and that search will resume again this morning, but sadly, hope is fading there.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes from SAPOL. Let's talk weather. Brett Cage is senior forecaster at the Bureau this morning. Feels like we've already had a little bit of rain. Brett, are we expecting much more to come down today?
Yeah, since 9 a.m. we had 4 millimetres in the city, and the highest fall's been up to 11 millimetres at Cherryville in the hills. And we still got a very high chance of showers this morning, and becoming a bit less likely this afternoon. It's also a chance of a thunderstorm this morning, and with some possible small hail as well. So 3 to 8 millimetres is the expected total for today, and just a top of 14 degrees, much colder than that lovely 24 we had for a top yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was a great day.
Awesome.
It's going to be a while till we see the sun again, isn't it, Brett?
It'll be a little while. Just a possible shower for tomorrow, so there may be some sunny breaks in there, but only a top of 14. Then Wednesday, a shower or two, and a chance of morning fog about the northern suburbs, top of 15. Thursday should be mainly fine and partly cloudy, top of 15. And then warming up on Friday, we'll go back into some northerlies, a top of 19 degrees. But that's ahead of another change coming through on Saturday. Not as cold this next change. Tops of 17 for Saturday and Sunday with a shower or two on Saturday and just a possible shower Sunday.
Good on you, Brett. Thank you for that.
Brett.
Senior forecaster Brett Gage at the Weather Bureau. 12 to 7. We're going to take the temperature on the prospect of increasing crowd numbers for the 2 finals being played in Adelaide this weekend in a moment. Let us know what you think on the Telstra Stormount Parker text line 0448 08 1395. You can call us if you've got a more expansive thought that you'd like to share with us. 8223 0000. Should they go up, down, or stay the same? Let us know.
Census night was Tuesday the 10th of August. It's not too late, so complete now. For help, visit census.abs.gov.au or call 1800 512 441. Authorised by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Canberra.
You make enough stops as it is, which is why OG Speed Shop is a one-stop shop. That's one stop for fuel, repairs or upgrades. Ask about our $165 service special, giving you a high-quality service at a great price. You can also get logbook servicing, which won't affect your warranty. OG Speed Shop, an SA proud one-stop shop since 1927.
G'day, I'm Lucky from Nutrimate, and I love my Nutrimate dog rolls because I'm helping local industry as they're made and owned in Australia. They also have added omega-3 to keep my coat beautiful, thiamine and taurine for my eyesight and muscles, and a great firm texture to keep my teeth and gums healthy. So get some Nutrimate into your furry mate. They'll love it. 3 great varieties of Nutrimate dog rolls, now in your local Foodland, Drake's and IGA.
So you've got a will. That's good. But do you know where it is? Or when it was updated last? Have your circumstances changed? An old or poorly thought out will can leave problems for your family and those you love. And it can be expensive to sort out. Don't let that be your legacy. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, you can trust Donlan Lawyers to help carry out your wishes. Wills and estate planning? Visit donlanlawyers.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 to 7, the Premier of South Australia coming up after 7:30 this morning. Lots on the agenda with the Premier. The Adelaide Oval Finals crowd cap. We'll talk to him about the home quarantine trial. That's fascinating. This is the idea that you wouldn't need to go to hotel quarantine if you were coming from a low-risk area into South Australia. There'd be technology that tracks where you are, facial recognition technology you have to check in on, and that way you'd be able to stay at home and there would be a reasonable sense, well, there'd be a good sense of what your whereabouts are.
Yeah.
And it would simplify that whole process.
I was thinking about that in the context of our great friend and producer, Andy Ruzian, earlier this year. No, not earlier this year. It was last year, right at the very start of the pandemic. He came back from the States and had to quarantine at his home in Christie's with his then fiancée. I made a chicken curry mercy dash down there. So, you know, the system would be that rather than having to go and do it in a hotel, you could do what they did.
Yep,
you know,
that's right.
And just the proviso is not allowed to leave the house. And I'm not sure how the facial recognition technology works. Where does that come into it? Maybe you just got to scan each morning to prove that
you are where you are.
That you are where you are.
You are where, because your phone has...
Like holding up that day's newspaper.
It'd be the equivalent. It's the equivalent of that. Because your phone has geolocation, so they'll always know where your phone is. But how do they know the phone's with you? Well, you have to check in with your face.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it would work. Hey, bad news for the Bowden-Brompton folks. SA Power Network now saying 8:45 a.m. For the restoration of services there. Some 2,600 houses currently without power. Let us know if it does come on, folks. We'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000.
I wonder if...
We travel near and we travel far. Tick, tick, journey, journey, big red car. We're gonna ride the whole day long.
Well, any parent can sing most of those tunes.
They've doubled in size, the Wiggles. They're now 8 Wiggles. So there are 4 new faces joining the band. So originally we have the blue Wiggle Anthony, yellow Wiggle Emma, purple Wiggle Lockie, and red Wiggle Simon. Now we've got another blue Wiggle Evie, another yellow Wiggle Kelly, another purple Wiggle John, and a red Wiggle Sihei. I'm not unsure how to pronounce her name.
Sihei.
But it's a group of Wiggles that will front a new series, Fruit Salad TV, dedicated to embracing all Australians, no matter their race, age or gender, set to premiere September 4 on the Wiggles' own YouTube channel. It's about, frankly, it's entirely about representation. There's a lot of, the new Wiggles have Asian heritage, Indigenous heritage.
Yeah.
It's about broadening it out.
Well, the original lineup was 3 white guys and a Vietnamese Australian, Jeff Fat, a.k.a. Wake Up Jeff. So the new of all the new Wiggles, only one is a guy. He's a Filipino bloke called John Pierce. So the other, Sihei, is a 15-year-old girl originally from Ethiopia. She's going to wear red. She's a world champion in Latin dancing. Then there's Evie Ferris, who's going to wear blue. She's an Indigenous yoga teacher. And Kelly Hamilton, who's 45, showing that they're trying to stamp out ageism, I guess. She's going to wear yellow alongside Emma and ride a skateboard.
Well, that's Olympic sport now.
Yeah. Now, Matt Canavan, the Nationals senator, he's had a real crack at this, saying it's political correctness. He says the Wiggles will go broke for going woke. Then he says the Wiggles are free to do what they like. It was nice while it lasted, but you go woke, you go broke. I got to say, I don't see the addition of a few coloured women to the Wiggles as being a harbinger for the end of civilization as we know it.
It's not right they got rid of all the original Wiggles. They've just grown it. This is the least offensive thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, I know. I'm not quite sure what the fuss is all about.
Sahai, by the way, is the pronunciation that
Sahai.
Yeah, that we're unsure of. Lucy's just
Apologies
checked it for
to
us.
our Ethiopian listeners.
Yeah.
We might have a few. Who knows? Any Gabra Selassies out there? Yeah, I don't know. A mate of mine sent me a screenshot. He was watching, I'm not entirely sure why, he was watching Mark Latham the other night. And Latham is on a Zoom call from his living room or his office, or maybe his home office, probably his home office. He seems to have trouble holding down a job these days. But and over Latham's shoulder in his office was an original 24-pack of the cheese formerly known as Coon slices. He's kept an empty packet of Coon cheese on his shelf, presumably as a reminder of what we've lost as a nation. And I just thought, look, there were aspects of that discussion that grated with me, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
But are you really that upset about it that you want to keep the original Coon packet on a shelf in your house?
You know what? The thing I've struggled to pass.
That is weird, isn't it?
Oh, it is weird. And this is, people sometimes confuse the issue. Okay, you might rail against cancel culture or wokeism and say performative wokeism. That's fine. Go for it. But what I don't get is people that will ostensibly from the right, seeing fit to criticise businesses for making decisions they think will increase their profits. So
Yeah,
if you're the Wiggles and you say, what communities aren't we particularly strong in? I don't know, the Chinese Australian community. So we're going to, that's just a business decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is that to be decried? A lot of this stuff is just businesses making smart business decisions and trying to make more money, which once upon a time was the kind of thing, if you were on the right side of politics, you'd be trying to defend businesses' capacity to expand profits and do things that are to their benefit.
You know, we've had him on the show a few times. You know the Sydney crime reporter, Mark Murray?
Yeah.
He's obviously Italian-Australian. I used to work with him when the Wiggles were becoming a huge juggernaut about 20 years ago in Sydney. He told me that him and three of his cousins were going to form a band called the Woggles because they thought there was like a big entry point for Mediterranean folks. They're going to do like Big Red Car and Italian and stuff like that. But, don't sweat the small stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2 minutes to 7. Premier Stephen Marshall up after 7 o'clock. In fact, he'll be coming on after 7:30, we're hearing. So we'll chat with him about a range of things. One of those will be the increasing chasm between places on earth that seem to be pursuing a zero COVID strategy and those that aren't. So WA is in the R category, and they've unashamedly said post 80% vaccination, they're going for zero COVID. Intriguingly, New Zealand are now saying that zero COVID's not achievable with Delta.
Yeah.
They've got cases there now. I mean, it's less intriguing. Maybe it's just a reality. New South Wales obviously are saying, hey, we're not even talking about getting back to zero. We're talking about opening up when we get to a certain marker of vaccinations had. So they've already set for when pubs and clubs are going to open, and it's got nothing to do with how many cases they've got.
Queensland in the last 24 hours have said too that they're thinking about keeping their borders closed.
That's right. They want to pursue zero COVID. So something to put to the Premier after 7:30 today is where South Australia sits in this mix. And where do we sit in 2022 come January where this marker has been hit?
See, we should ask him point blank too, is the election a factor in the thinking of any of this? Because, everyone seems to think that it will be. We've said that on air. Matt Abraham said that on air. Paul Starrick said it in the Tizer. Everyone said the election makes a more cautious policy more likely. I don't know if that's necessarily true. The other thing is, the Premier's still not going to ultimately be in charge of the state when the election's called. Grant Stevens, it looks like his powers are going to be extended till April.
Is he going to be on the docket? Can we vote one Grant?
Grant Stevens. 4 more years.
7 o'clock, 5AA News Time. Some of the big stories with audio coming up in just a moment.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 14 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
There's been a car rollover on the freeway. It happened on the down track just before the toll gate shortly before 5. The vehicle rolled several times and ended up on its roof. A 21-year-old Mount Barker man has been given an expiation notice for failing to keep control of his vehicle. The clean-up is continuing. There are grave concerns for a Paringa man missing in the River Murray. The alarm was raised late Saturday afternoon after the 72-year-old fell from a tinny and didn't resurface. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says the incident occurred about 5 kilometres north of Renmark.
The search was launched immediately, it then continued yesterday, and they searched all day with local police, water operations, SES boats and volunteers searching both on and in the water and along the riverbanks. The search concluded late last night.
The search will continue this morning. Up to 50 fully vaccinated interstate and overseas arrivals will take part in a home quarantine trial in SA launching this week. State-of-the-art electronic monitoring will be used instead of Medi hotels. SA Health and SAPOL will oversee the pilot scheme. If successful, it will be rolled out across the country. Meantime, there was a mad rush for South Aussies trying to get home from Victoria yesterday. Border restrictions were tightened even further from 6 p.m. Tougher COVID lockdown rules now apply to 12 hotspot areas of Sydney as New South Wales' daily COVID count came in at a record 830 yesterday. Nine's Clinton Maynard reports.
At 9 o'clock this evening, only authorised workers and those in need of medical attention will be permitted to be away from home if they live in a dozen LGAs. The curfew came into force at midnight and will run each day. Also from today, there is a 1-hour limit on exercise in those regions. And for the whole state, masks must be worn outside except when exercising, but they still must be carried. And after yesterday's record 830 cases, with the reproduction rate above 1, there is the expectation daily case numbers will top 1,000 in the coming days.
Queensland's Deputy Police Commissioner has expressed his disappointment after an anti-lockdown protest at the Queensland-New South Wales border. About 2,000 people turned out in Coolangatta and Tweed Heads. Steve Goshevsky has told Today it's not wise to protest during a pandemic.
If you wanted to do something that could spread COVID, that's exactly the sort of thing that's going to do that. And as we know, why we've got those restrictions in place on our border is to keep COVID out of Queensland. If it gets in, we're going to end up in exactly the same space as we see other parts of the country, and that's certainly not what we want.
8 people were arrested by New South Wales Police, who also issued dozens of fines. Queensland Police made 1 arrest. Qantas is offering travellers the chance to win free flights for a year, but only if they're fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Free accommodation and fuel is also on offer. Well, the US has enlisted 18 commercial planes to help with evacuations in Afghanistan, but the Pentagon says the aircraft will not fly to Kabul, where there have been chaotic scenes over the weekend. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And a win for the Crows, Tom Wren.
Yeah, they finished off their season in style, didn't they, Mel? Crushing North Melbourne by 44 points. It was a fitting farewell too for retiring pair Tom Lynch and Dave McKay, who both booted a goal in the final term. Coach Matthew Nicks admitted post-game McKay could have easily played on in 2022.
We would love to have seen D-Mac possibly for another year. We felt like maybe he could have, but 100% agree with the call he's made, because it's a call that he sees this is the right time.
2 other games to wrap up the round yesterday, with St Kilda smashing Fremantle by 58 points, while Essendon cemented 8th spot with a 38-point victory against Collingwood. To tennis, Ash Barty's incredible run in 2021 has continued after she took out her 5th title of the year, winning the Cincinnati Masters in straight sets against Jill Teichmann.
It's going long. It's another title for Ash Barty. Unbeatable, unbelievable form. and she sweeps aside the challenge of the wild card.
Yeah, the world number one's in stunning form heading into the final Grand Slam of the year, the US Open, beginning next week. Australian golfer Cameron Smith will have to wait at least a day to pursue victory in the Northern Trust Golf Championship in New Jersey. Smith is the joint leader heading into the final round. That, though, has been postponed by 1 day at least because of a tropical storm warning. And Manny Pacquiao has been upset in his first boxing bout in 2 years. A unanimous decision loss to Cuban Yordenis Ugas. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Oaklands Park, got a smash on Diagonal Road at Sturt Road. A few blackouts in and around Brompton this morning. Woodville Park, expect delays on Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road for work. Speeds down to 40. Northfield, expect delays. Grange Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, affecting both directions. Speeds of 25. And look out for cameras this morning. Baines Road, Morford Vale, and Hub Drive at Aberfoyle Park. Hitting the roads these holidays, book a Pettis brake, steering and suspension check for just $28. For peace of mind and a comprehensive report, visit pettis.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers 14 today, a possible shower tomorrow 14, Wednesday a shower or two 15. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 7, the Premier of South Australia coming up after 7:30 on the program this morning. There continues to be extraordinary reporting coming out of Afghanistan. Charlotte Bellis is a New Zealand journo, a woman, obviously, who's reporting from the front line in Afghanistan, and had a sit-down interview with Abdul Kahar Balki, who is effectively the spokesperson of the Taliban regime. He was playing the role of translator at the very first press conference that was held, and now he sat down in his capacity as spokesperson with Charlotte Bellis for the first of these style of interviews.
The consultations are ongoing, and of course it is going to be an inclusive system. It is very unfortunate for people to be rushing to the airport the way they are at the moment. I think it would have been much better because we have announced general amnesty for everyone, the security forces from senior to the junior level. And this fear or this hysteria that has taken place is unfounded.
Now, that's not an interpretation, that's him speaking. So he's got an accent that...
He speaks good English.
He speaks really good English. In fact, the way he said some of his words almost sounded Australian. The sort of the inflection on it, which is really peculiar. But every time you hear and see something like that, it feels like when the veil's been lifted on bits of North Korea. You start getting insight into the thinking and the language that's being used.
But these guys are the whole idea that they're new is bunk because they're not new. What they seem to be now is candidly medieval. Because last week there was another extraordinary scene at a press conference where a female news camerawoman thought, well, while I'm here, I'll ask a question. And she said, can I just clarify, will women still be allowed to work as journalists? And the answer was, well, we're working through some things at the moment. We're pretty confident that women will be able to get an education up to the end of high school. Not sure about university, but as for holding jobs, women will be allowed to hold jobs in health and education, but we're not sure about journalism yet. There's going to be some thought given to all these different fields as to whether women can work there or not. Like, seriously?
Yeah. It's medieval.
But that's their idea of being modern.
That's right. Yeah, they'd see it as a significant
How
concession.
progressive are we?
Yeah. Well, this is just it. Tony Blair was the Prime Minister of England when they joined the coalition of forces that initially went into Afghanistan, and he sat down over the weekend to talk about the current predicament.
It's not just about the Afghan people, it's about us and our security. Because you've now got this group back in charge of Afghanistan. They will give protection and succor to Al-Qaeda. You've got ISIS already in the country trying to operate at the same time. You know, you look around the world, and the only people really cheering this decision are the people hostile to Western interests. People, as a result of what's happened in Afghanistan, are going to have a deep doubt as to whether we can be relied upon. And that is not a good thing.
Closer to home, there were some ugly protests around the country, perhaps none more violent than those that happened in Melbourne. It was a really peculiar scene at the Queensland-New South Wales border where a man sort of cast himself in the role of William Wallace from Braveheart too.
Cross the border! Everyone cross the border, they can't hold all of us!
That was his exclamation whilst on horseback running the border.
How'd you be just being a normal person with, you know, at home with your wife and kids in Melbourne or in Sydney? What is it, Sydney now, week 8? Melbourne, day 203. You just wouldn't put the TV on. Like, you wouldn't want to know about all of this.
The
just
hardcore...
drive you completely mad.
The problem seems to be, right across the country, there is a hardcore of people that are hostile to any form of restriction, okay. But they seem to suffer under the delusion that people who aren't at the protest are somehow having the time of their lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're like, no one likes this.
No,
okay?
exactly.
Just a public service announcement.
Part of the
Nobody's
problem
having a
too-
cracking time living in a lockdown country.
The big logical fallacy as well with these protests is that so many of the people who are there, well, clearly they all hate lockdown, but most of them seem to hate vaccinations too.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, hang on a minute. Can you not see that there's an actual link between hating vaccinations and hating lockdowns? Like, if you really hate lockdowns, go and get vaccinated.
Yeah, that's right.
And so many of them are certifiable. Like, you know, there was a woman with a T-shirt that I saw in Sydney, you know, Jesus protects me more than the vaccine. Well, good luck. Good luck with that, Jesus. I mean, Jesus can do a lot of stuff. I didn't know he could necessarily have the same health effects as a vaccine.
Well, I saw some people saying, well, why don't we have a faith-based approach to checking eggs? There's a whole regime in place to make sure there's not salmonella in eggs. Should we just do away with it? Because we just...
Power of prayer.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole host of things that we...
I'm not trying to be rude about prayer.
I'm not sure who I'm preaching to.
A lot of people, maybe they're converted. You know, if prayer makes you feel better, I don't see that it does any harm.
Sure, absolutely.
But it's no substitute for science, I wouldn't have thought.
So
in that context.
It frames this next question really interestingly. So that's happening at the same time as the state government and SA Health are here contemplating how many fans do you let into Adelaide Oval for not one but 2 finals this weekend?
And it has now been confirmed that Port Adelaide will play Geelong on Friday night at Adelaide Oval, while Melbourne has chosen the Oval as its home ground for its clash on Saturday night against Brisbane.
That's the question we're asking you on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. So the cap's currently 15,000. Do you want to see it go up, down, or stay the same? Football fans want to see it up. Football fans almost universally are sending us things like this tweet we received to 5AA Breakfast from Steve saying, shouldn't be any reason for anything other than at least 30,000 people. Queensland is back to 75% capacity at grounds. WA is 100%. If the government even want to look at a grand final, they need to increase crowd or stop even talking about it, because crowds of 15,000 isn't going to get you the grand final.
Nola on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line has similar sentiment. She says, thank goodness for sport, with or without spectators. It's a reprieve from this topsy-turvy time. Thanks also to the sports players who have to juggle their lives to entertain us.
Yeah.
So quite a bit of support for it. But equally, a lot of people are making the comparisons between the announcement only a few days ago that the Royal Show's been canned, because you can't have more than 10,000 people at it.
14 minutes after 7. We'll check traffic now. Opening soon. The award-winning team at Dave Potter are now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
A few showers passing through the area this morning, so do take some extra care on the wet roads. Also got some blackouts too in and around Brompton this morning. Northfield, expect delays Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, affecting both direction speeds at 25 k's. And busy on the drive in today, Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road. Cameras to look out for Grant Road, Ranella, Hub Drive, Aberfoyle Park and Lindock Road at Gawler East. LeBron James teams up with the Looney Tunes gang for Space Jam, a new legacy. Fast track from cinemas to your home. Space Jam, a new legacy, new to buy or rent on digital now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
It's like meeting a mate at the mall's balls. Blowing the froth of a Cooper's in Rundle Street. Then catching a show at the Fringe. There are things that we just do best. The things that make our state great. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. There is SASAA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
South Australia's current fruit fly outbreaks are not only affecting some of our everyday foods, but threatening thousands of local jobs, businesses and livelihoods. There are important restrictions in place to limit the movement of some fruit and vegetables. We all need to understand how the restrictions apply to where we live, shop and travel. Because protecting our growers, South Australian jobs and businesses is in your hands. Find out what you need to do by visiting fruitfly.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's licence? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Careers. Don't send it, ace it.
Shh. Can you hear that? Hang on. Here it comes.
The new Kia Niro has landed. Available as a hybrid, plug-in hybrid and full electric. It's Australia's broadest electric SUV range, and they're all available for immediate delivery. Technology moves fast. Meet 3 ways to catch up. The new Kia Niro electric SUV range. Check with your local Kia dealer for details.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
When you holiday here this year, let Steam Ranger do the driving for you. Sit back, open your window and breathe in the country air as you ride behind vintage steam trains, classic diesels and heritage rail cars between Mount Barker, Bugle Ranges, Strathalbyn, Goolwa, Port Elliot and Victor Harbour. Home to Steam Ranger's iconic cockle train. For tickets, times and travel dates, visit Steam Ranger online or on the line with cockle train tickets available from the Goolwa, Port Elliot and Victor Harbour train stations.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
18 minutes after 7. This is going to be fun. We have some tickets for you and a friend to the ultimate event, which is taking place Saturday, October 23, 2021. So later this year, a couple of months away. Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano, who we had on the program, David Campbell, playing the ultimate Village Green, Adelaide Oval. You can get tickets from Ticketek, but the more fun way to do it is become our Snippet Superstar. This is one we won by a true music fan, this competition. 8223 is the number. I'm going to play a little snippet of a song.
Ooh, cool.
If you're the first person to call in and have it right, you'll get these tickets. But what's more, you're also in the draw to win the meet and greet with all the performers and have a backstage tour before the show.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this is the ultimate music fan experience here. So hear the cue and then call in. See, so people are calling in now, and I'll tell you, I'll give you this promise: you'll be mercilessly mocked if you call in having not heard the clip. Okay,
That's right.
Okay. In fact, put one of them over.
Imagine if they get it right.
Okay, here is the snippet. If you can, hang on. Hey, Wendy. Good morning.
Good morning.
What was the snippet I just played?
I didn't hear it.
No, 'cause I haven't played it yet, Wendy. You're calling it too early. 8223555 is the number. Here's the snippet. Oh, 8223055. Get calling. What do you think the snippet is? Who's fastest on the trigger? 8223055. You know it, don't you?
Yeah. Did you know
That's
it?
a nice, easy one. Even I know that one.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Even I know that one. The ultimate backstage tour. I think we should make them progressively tougher as the week goes on.
Yeah.
That's a nice little intro level.
That's off a record that almost everybody in Australia has in their collection.
What was it, Russell? What's the song?
Johnny Farnham, you're the voice.
He's the voice, and Russell, you are the man. Well done.
Good on you, Russell. That's tremendous work. The ultimate event, Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano, David Campbell together on stage, one night only, Saturday, October 23 at the Village Green, which is a great setting for a concert. That's a great spot. Adelaide Oval. You can get tickets at Ticketek, or all week we'll be giving you the chance to win tickets and then go in the draw to win the meet and greet with all the performers backstage, have the tour, the whole kit and caboodle. That will be sensational. And each week, each day, maybe the snippet will get a little bit harder. 21 minutes after 7, we'll be back to talk sport in just a moment.
The Red Hot Vitamin Sale is now on at Terry White Chemmart. Half price on selected big brand vitamins like Blackmore's, Swiss, Bioglan, Inner Health and Nature's Own. Shop online or in store. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart. T's and C's apply. Sale ends September 7.
What do you hear? Irritating static or a calming ocean? For tinnitus sufferers, how you perceive low-level noise can seriously impact sleep and well-being. But the brain can be taught to isolate the noise and eliminate it. The Tinnitus Treatment app can help train your mind while you sleep. Begin your free 30-day trial now. Search Tinnitus Treatment in your app store and sleep away tinnitus.
How do you know you're in South Australia? Well, we make a great coffee. We're Festival Mad. And we have Leader computers. Yep, world-class Leader computers are made and serviced right here in Adelaide. It means everything you need for your business or home computing is local, not overseas, not interstate. So if something does go wrong, there's no runaround. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader computers. To find your local dealer, visit leadersystems.com.au.
And now, a look at the weather. Unseasonably warm conditions are expected in Adelaide throughout winter, with more than 50 events happening across the CBD and North Adelaide. Add to that the hot RAA member exclusive offers on accommodation and experiences, and there's never been a better time to hit the town.
Winter is heating up in Adelaide, so book your staycation now. Talk to the travel experts at RAA and keep on moving on. Terms and conditions apply. See the RAA website for details.
There's never been a more important time to protect your family's future. So start by making a will. Maurice Blackburn's My Life Wills online service provides legally valid wills written by expert lawyers for a fixed price. Get started from the comfort and convenience of your own home. To protect your loved ones, head to mauriceblackburn.com.au/create my will today.
Conditions apply.
We've survived knife cuts,
power cuts,
broken backs,
busted ovens,
bounce checks, bushfires, dodgy Wi-Fi,
drunken diners,
food critics,
no shows,
no sleep, no tips,
and worse still,
well done steaks.
But unless Australia gets vaccinated faster,
our restaurants don't stand a chance.
So don't just talk about it.
Put a jab on the menu today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 after 7. It's like the last 5 minutes have been brought to us by John Farnham.
Oh, sorry.
Time to talk sport. The Toyota Land Cruiser 300 Series is coming to North Point Toyota. Don't miss out, order now. It is the North Point way. Rowie is off this morning. Tim Ginner will be hosting the sports show, and I reckon he'll be pretty happy to do that, given what transpired on the weekend.
Vandermeer.
Good tackle.
Goes over top.
No.
Smith.
Oh,
High
no.
kick.
What
It's
a
coming
kick.
back. Lands in the square. Not going to take it.
Marshall did well.
Punts through. Port Adelaide are going to win. Ken Hinkley couldn't bear to watch.
Oh, I'm with him. I'm with him.
Bear to watch. It's 66-64. You hear the siren. The siren's going to sound with the ball in the air. Well played, Port Adelaide.
Out of jail.
What a finish. Trent said out of jail. They came from nowhere.
Outstanding.
They were in front about 2% of game time. The Bulldogs floundered towards the finish. Port too good. And they don't get the double chance.
He rides every kick, every bump, every moment, Tim Ginniver. You heard it there. It'll be great to hear him on the host of the sports show tonight to talk about what is going to be a really exciting week at the start of a very exciting finals campaign for Port fans.
You've called a few games over the last couple of years with Tim, Will, and he sort of goes into his shell. Like if
it
things
goes badly.
If things go badly, he
he
rides it, doesn't he?
So if you've got a friend that you watch the footy with and you know when their team's not going well, they just go quiet. And they get angry, but they go quite angry where they just don't want to engage with other human beings. Timmy does that during the call. It threw me off when I first did it with him, and then I realised, no, that's just the man is so emotionally invested he can't divorce himself from that. But the good news for him and Port fans has been there hasn't been too many moments like that of late. They are a real show to win the premiership this year. The finals fixture came out late yesterday. They play Geelong at the Adelaide Oval, 7:20 on Friday night. The second elimination final, Sydney GWS, will take place in Tassie on Saturday, sort of that twilight fixture period, 3:20 Eastern, so 2:50 our time. The Saturday night game is also at Adelaide Oval. That's Melbourne-Brisbane. That'll be a massive game. 7 o'clock is the bounce local time. And then on Sunday, it's the first elimination final, Bulldogs, Essendon, also in Tassie. So the opening weekend of the finals, every game's being played in either Adelaide or Tasmania, which I think is a model for perhaps how all things should happen in Australia.
Absolutely. Yep. Hopefully this is the future. But no word yet on what will happen in week 2. Although you think, I mean, if Port win this week, they'll get the week off and then they'll have a home prelim. That's how it works, isn't it?
That's 100% how it works.
Yeah.
So they'll be hoping for that. The real question mark is what happens after that point.
Well, the grand finals, I actually think the chance of Adelaide hosting it has gone up a bit.
There's not a lot of genuine enthusiasm. Well, no, so that's the wrong way of phrasing it. There's not a lot of genuine belief that it'll be here from people in football that I've chatted with over the weekend.
Well, how likely is it that it will be in Western Australia?
Far more likely.
Well, how can McGowan do that? How can he at the same time say that people are just flat out not allowed to come, and even when we get to 80%, they might still close the borders, but he's going to host the AFL Grand Final?
I'm so far beyond trying to make sense of or interpret how Western Australia are treating this crisis. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people
I can't answer them. It doesn't make sense to me. There's the prospect the AFL have left open to move the Grand Final back if there's quarantine or things that need to be done. Because there's no buy. Usually
to hold it in Victoria?
Yeah, that's right. Well, no. To hold it in WA.
Well, yeah, but their first preference still would be to hold it in Melbourne.
Oh, absolutely.
But they've said they might delay. Imagine if you make the grand final, and that's not going to be held for another 3 weeks.
Well, there's a very real chance that Eddie Maguire and some others will form a human fence in front of the plane that will be taking whatever team's flying off to Melbourne.
Yeah, that's right.
To try and prevent it from going there.
I
think that's genuinely in play. It does happen in other places. The Super Bowl in the US, they will have a week gap between that and the conference finals. So there is a model for it. They try and amp up and the excitement and really build it up over a longer period than you usually get between rounds 3 and 4 or something like that. So it's possible, but
regardless, it's going to be an exciting week for Port supporters. And I'll tell you what, having Tim doing the show this afternoon is going to be terrific because as we said, he's an open book emotionally.
He's great, Tim. There's nothing fake. There's nothing confected.
No, exactly.
He bleeds black, white and teal. So, yeah, that'll be terrific. The outstanding question still remains about crowds this week. And we're still getting a lot of texts like this on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line. As for the footy, if you can't have the show, you shouldn't have the footy. It's double standards. SA Health and the government have lost all credibility.
Well, I don't know. There's 2 ways you can approach that. You can you can say if you can't have one, then you shouldn't have the other. My question would be, like the old El Paso ad, ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not have both?
The Premier, when he joins us after 7:30, I'm guessing will say, well, we didn't tell the show they couldn't host it. They decided it wasn't worth them to host it, given how many staff are required to put it on and how many people that would mean could fit under the 10,000 person cap.
And he won't say we either. It was they.
Of course.
The health advice.
The royal we.
The royal we. We, man. We. The royal we.
5:08 news time. The Premier of South Australia coming up in just a moment. Toyota Land Cruiser 300 Series coming to North Point Toyota. Don't miss out. Order now. It is the North Point way.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 14 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
A Subaru Liberty rolled several times on the down track of the freeway in the early hours of this morning. It ended up on its roof just before the toll gate around 4:45. The driver walked away from the crash with only a blood nose. The 21-year-old Mount Barker man was issued with an expiation notice for failing to maintain control of his vehicle. The search for a missing Paringa man in the River Murray will continue today. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says hopes of finding the 72-year-old alive are fading.
The alarm was raised about 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon after a man was seen to fall from a tinny and didn't resurface in the Murray River near Renmark, about 5 kilometres north of Renmark.
SA will trial a new type of quarantine this week. Selected interstate and overseas travellers will take part in a home quarantine program. The pilot scheme is only open to fully vaccinated arrivals and involves electronic monitoring. Meantime, as of 6 last night, the SA Victoria border closure was beefed up. Anyone wanting to come home or relocate here will now need a special exemption. New South Wales COVID crisis continues to deteriorate with a record 830 cases yesterday. Millions of residents in hotspot suburbs are now subject to a nighttime curfew. Nine's Clinton Maynard has the details.
Since midnight, a curfew is applied to anyone living in 12 LGAs, which include the hotspot suburbs of Penberthy. Since 5, the curfew has been lifted, but from 9 o'clock tonight, it resumes. Authorised workers are permitted to leave home, and there are exemptions for emergencies and medical reasons. From today, residents in those LGAs are also limited to an hour's exercise a day, and mask rules outdoors apply for the whole state today. Meanwhile, public transport is mainly running to weekend timetables again because of the increasing number of transport workers forced to isolate.
State Government Minister Corey Wingard has taken the unusual step of launching legal action against a sporting administrator who's accused him of bullying and intimidation. An investigation is underway into the claims but is yet to be completed. Labor's Tom Coutson-Tonis says it's not a good look.
It is the ultimate act, I think, of pushing around a small little club, and I think it's unfair. And the Minister isn't even waiting for the outcome of the independent investigation.
It's hoped a scientific breakthrough could improve IVF success rates. Nine's Meg Van Lohausen reports.
Australian scientists are hoping to build a test that could detect a woman's ideal window for pregnancy. Despite IVF embryos being carefully selected, many high-quality embryos still failed to implant. RMIT and Monash IVF researchers have discovered the absence of a Teflon-like molecule, which prevents embryos from sticking, is key. It's hoped the molecule can be turned into a treatment for unexplained infertility.
Tropical storm Henri has made landfall on the east coast of the United States, resulting in heavy rain and flooding to parts of New York. The system has been downgraded, but more than 50 million people remain under an extreme weather warning. It's the biggest storm to hit New York since Hurricane Sandy 9 years ago. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected ASCO dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
With everything footy, here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Yes, let's begin there. Adelaide will now begin the process of preparing for the off-season after finishing off the year with a 44-point win over North Melbourne. The Crows said goodbye to Tom Lynch and Dave McKay yesterday, while Daniel Talia will also leave the club. Coach Matthew Nix admits the list of management moving forward is a delicate process.
There's always a balance of going too young. We definitely don't want to go down that path. And at the moment, that's what we're working through.
Port Adelaide, meantime, is preparing to kick off the final series when it takes on Geelong on Friday night. That won't be the only final played in Adelaide, though, with Melbourne hosting Brisbane on Saturday night. To tennis, Ash Barty has claimed the 13th title of her career in the lead-up to the US Open. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports.
Barty scored a tour-leading 40th match win for the year when she beat Jill Teichmann 6-3, 6-1 to win Cincinnati for the first time, but it's her 5th title of the year. From 3-all in the first set, she took control of the match and outplayed the Swiss lefty, who was playing the biggest final of her career. This week, Barty starts her 83rd consecutive week as number 1 and 90th overall.
She is flying at the moment. Let's go to soccer. It hasn't taken long for Romelu Lukaku to get into gear for Chelsea, scoring in his return to the club.
It's Reece James. It's 2-0 Chelsea. That's a super smooth goal.
Yeah, they're going very, very nicely. The Blues are on top after a clinical 2-0 victory over Arsenal. Elsewhere, Tottenham enjoyed a 1-0 win over Watford, while Southampton and Manchester United shared the points in a 1-1 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Parallel, we look out for a smash at Waterloo Corner and Bolivar Road, causing a few delays. Got some blackouts in and around Brompton this morning. Be aware of that if you're driving through that area. Northfield, expect delays this morning. Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works affecting both directions, speeds of 25 k's. Busy on the drive in Marion Road, Galway Avenue to Richmond Road. And look out for cameras Hub Drive, Aberfoyle Park and Southern Expressway at O'Halloran Hill. Love your lunch with a Porto. Chicken salad, Bondi Burger meal deal or chicken wrapper meal deal, just $9.95 each. Only at a Porto. Available before 4 p.m in-store and takeaway only. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
14 for your Monday with showers. A possible shower 14 tomorrow. A shower or two 15 on Wednesday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes to 8. John Blake on the way before 8 o'clock. We'll talk real estate with Toop and Toop and also checking on the weather. Already been a bit of rain. Brett Gage told us earlier there could be some more on the way today, but we'll get the latest forecast in just a moment.
It's time to chat now to the Premier of the state. Stephen Marshall joins us. Premier, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Will. Good morning to all of your listeners.
So there's a few potholes on the old road map out of lockdown, it would appear. Western Australia saying quite candidly that even when Australia gets to 80%, they might not open their borders. Queensland have entered the fray in the last 24 hours saying similar things. What's South Australia's position?
Look, we're backing science, we're backing the evidence, we're backing the Doherty Institute. That's the National Cabinet agreed position. I did hear those comments from the Deputy Premier of Queensland over the weekend. But look, the reality is we have got a very well-informed model that's going to continuously be updated as we get closer to that 70%, then the 80%. But this is our pathway out of the situation that we currently find ourselves in.
So we're not pursuing a zero COVID strategy once we hit 80% vaccinated?
Well, we are currently pursuing a zero community transmission strategy around the country because we know that if we didn't, we would very quickly overwhelm our health capacities. Look, if you look at New South Wales, even with a really harsh lockdown, they've got 500 or 600 people in hospital at the moment, many of them in ICU. You imagine the situation if this was allowed to just run right. We would be in a world of trouble and we would have a lot more death in Australia, which we don't want to have. But what Doherty has said is once you get to around 80% of the adult population, so 16 and over, you're not going to be overrunning your health system. And so we can look at a different and changed situation. So the restrictions that sit within phases 2, 3 and 4 are still being fully fleshed out. We'll see some more information of that over the next 2 or 3 weeks. But from South Australia's perspective, we back science, we back evidence, we back the experts since day one. The experts have given their advice to the National Cabinet, to the AHPPC, and we'll be sticking to that.
I'm certainly not knocking the lockdown strategy, Premier, because clearly Delta was a game changer and
correct.
We had to take a very cautious approach. But in a philosophical sense, how do you, as the state's leader, turn the ship around from a situation where the Modbury cluster happens and we end up with 20 odd cases, so we go into a hard lockdown for a week. How do you sort of condition the state to say, well, look, okay, we're now at 80% vaccinations. We're going to have to accept that there might be some cases.
Well, I think it's a changed situation. It's a really good question, and there are no simple answers to these complex questions. But let me say this. When you don't have much of your population vaccinated, the transmission rate is higher, and the consequences of getting infected, especially on more vulnerable Australian citizens, is so much more damaging. The symptoms are greater, the hospitalisation, the admission to ICU, being put on a ventilator and ultimately death are much higher when you're unvaccinated. And the stats prove that in New South Wales at the moment. But as you get to 80%, that transmission rate very, very significantly reduces. And also when people get the disease, it is not nearly as bad as those who are unvaccinated. So I want to give every single South Australian the opportunity to get vaccinated. Post that, the evidence says that our systems won't be overrun, and in fact the transmission will be so much lower. Now the good news is that we lag several months behind the Northern Hemisphere, and in a way that's good. We lagged behind the peak early, which meant we could look at what they were doing, recalibrate and prepare ourselves, and I think we learnt from what they had done. And similarly with the vaccination strategy, we lag a couple of months behind the Northern Hemisphere. The UK, for example, used AstraZeneca. Now we've got advice that doesn't have our entire population using AstraZeneca like they had. So I think by lagging behind, we can look at what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the US, what's happening in the UK, and make sure that we're putting ourselves in the best position to optimise our performance out of this lockdown scenario that's currently enveloping the country.
Your line of work is politics, and the ultimate test of political success is whether you can win successive elections or not. How do you disentangle the looming state election from your thinking in managing these things? Because it might be crazy brave if in, hypothetically January or February, just weeks away from polling day, you say, all right, here we go, swallow hard, SA. There might be some cases, but we're opening the borders.
Well, again, look, right from day one of the coronavirus, we had to determine what our methodology in South Australia would be. We, I think, got together a very good team that works very effectively together. It's always been guided by science and evidence, and I don't think we're about to do a 180-degree turnaround as we're coming out of it. Look, we've done well in South Australia. We can't be complacent. We're very concerned about the Delta variant at the moment. But I've also got to say, being out and about on the weekend, you guys would have seen it as well. There is a very, very high level of compliance in South Australia. We don't want lockdowns. And we also see the benefit of what happens when you don't have lockdowns. We've got more people employed in South Australia than ever before in the history of our state. Unemployment is lower than it's been for more than a decade. South Australians don't want to go into lockdown.
Well, speaking of disentangling biases, Premier, the Port Adelaide Football Club are playing in a final Friday night as a Port band. Would you like to see the crowd cap increase?
Look, I don't think it will be, not for this weekend. Look, we just had 15 at the Port Carlton match a couple of weeks ago. We had 15 with the Crows match yesterday. I can't see us massively increasing that for this Friday, given what's happening across the border. Look, it was only over the weekend that Victoria put a lockdown right across regional Victoria. They don't do that without real concern. Look, I would love to see a big crowd at the Adelaide Oval. But most importantly, I don't want a lockdown coming to South Australia. Now, the good news is we've got two AFL finals matches on the weekend. We've got Friday night, we've got Saturday night. That's great for footy fans. It's also great for people working at the Stadium Management Authority at the Adelaide Oval, but also good for CBD businesses and state pride. But we've got to be risk averse at the moment. I know that's going to upset some football fans. I've got people yelling in both ears. One ear they're saying, open it up to everybody. The other ear they're saying, don't let football go ahead at all. And what we do is we just listen to that expert advice that we get from SA Health. I had people all last year telling me as soon as we allowed football, the coronavirus would get in and it would overrun the state. It didn't, because we manage that risk. We do it with the experts. We don't make political decisions. And that's what will be guiding us this Friday and Saturday night.
Is Adelaide still a chance of hosting the grand final, do you think?
We're working with the AFL. I'm certainly in very close contact with them. They want to make their decision in the coming days. It's a tough decision. let's face it, they've had a terrible job the last two seasons trying to manage the situation that we've got right around the country. We got through last year. And, of course, this year we've got right through to the finals, but there's going to be a lot of moving parts. We're going to be putting in a competitive bid, but uppermost in our mind is making sure that we definitely do keep our state safe. We do not want lockdowns here. Having said that, we definitely do want a Port Adelaide premiership this year.
When you say bid premier, does it involve any public money? Like, is it something where...
It will. Last year did as well. We weren't successful, but we put, I think, a prudent amount of money on because there is an economic benefit to South Australia being showcased right around the world. And so this is something that we manage through the South Australian Tourism Commission. When we bring big events here or when we have high-profile events here, we often do enter into commercial negotiations. We did that.
Can you say how much?
AFL. No, I mean, obviously, we don't want our competitors listening into this program, and all those things tend to be commercial.
I hope Mark McGowan doesn't listen to this program.
Exactly. well, he might have his people here listening in. Who knows?
We've been unkind, Premier.
But
can't afford the defamation bill.
You know how popular you guys really are.
Oh well,
yeah.
Transcend state borders.
That's
now.
Right. Hey, the home quarantine trial that's taking place here in South Australia, is it possible that if this succeeds, it's the end of hotel quarantine?
Look, I don't think it will be the end immediately, but if you think about it, the resource intensity of having the police going around to check on people in homes is just too great. That's why we've used hotel-based quarantine. But this is not going to be suitable as we go to larger numbers and as the risk decreases. So we're doing the national trial here. I think we've been recognised right around the country for our use of technology. Our QR code check-in app, I think, is considered the best in the country. Certainly people from South Australia who travel interstate come back and tell me ours is absolutely fantastic. And now we've had the honour of being the national pilot for this home-based quarantine app. Now we're starting this week with people coming back from New South Wales predominantly and a few from Victoria, but ultimately we'll be opening up to specially selected low-risk individuals coming in from overseas. We'll see how it runs and then we'll report to the National Cabinet. So, look, I think in a way, as I said, it's an honour that South Australia's been selected to do this pilot, and I think it's the way to go going forward.
Premier Stephen Marshall, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Got to say, it's heartening. Is it no zero COVID strategy in South Australia is the takeout from that?
Yeah.
I think that's as strong a statement as any state premier has made in support of the, well, perhaps Gladys Berejiklian as an aside, but that's a different scenario. But to an area where there is no COVID, that is as strong an endorsement of the Doherty modelling as we've had in Australia. No one else has dared to go that close to saying that's the world we're going to be living in. And frankly, I think everyone needs to get their head around the idea that at some point in time we don't report case numbers, we report hospitalisations.
100%. Because it creates so much baseless alarm.
Yep.
You know, there's plenty of people who got COVID who are, I mean, you know, you don't want to get it, but like...
Because at some point
Vincent McAvenny was on our London correspondent. He had it. He was fine within 3 days. I'm not being blasé about it, because a lot of people
if you're vaccinated,
do not get it.
That's right. At some point in time, you're just reporting on people getting the cold.
Yes. Yep.
It's 12 minutes to 8. Let's check traffic. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter are now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest time for BMW.
At Vale Park, got a two-car crash, North East Road and Ascot Avenue. Paralawi, got another smash there, Waterloo Corner and Bolivar Road. A few blackouts in and around Brompton this morning, so take care if you're driving through there. And Northfield, expect delays, Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, affecting both directions, speeds at 25 k's. Cameras this morning, Dyson Road, Christie's Beach and Para Road at Evanston. Whatever the industry, whatever the workwear, Totally Workwear can help. For workwear for tradies, through to uniforms for nurses, head to Totally Workwear, Australia's largest workwear supplier. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And here's Monday's cooking inspiration from Australian Pork. Delicious pork mince rissoles, crumbed pork koftas and pork mince sanshoy bao. Check out all the recipes at pork.com.au and get some pork on your fork.
At Toop and Toop, we make life simple for our landlords. Our clients no longer have to wait until the end of the month to know where their rent is paid up to. Hi, I'm Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Through our property app Toop Home, our landlords can track all property information, transactions, maintenance, inspections, and receive live updates anywhere at any time. Want to find out more? Contact our team on 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au.
Now, have you ever heard the saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey? Well, it could not be truer than when it comes to home renovations. It's hard to get excited about a new bathroom or kitchen reno if the whole process has been a living nightmare.
Not so at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, where it's all about the journey. In fact, we're catching up with Coxie and the gang in a few weeks now. His entire team, they go to extraordinary lengths to ensure the whole process is trouble-free. And it's all about the people, from meeting Tammy, one of the owners, affectionately known as the Boss Lady, through to their incredible design team and millimetre-perfect tradespeoples, the tidiest tradies you'll ever meet, and what's more, they're on time.
Start your journey to a stunning and worry-free home renovation with Buy Urban Bathrooms, Kitchens, Flooring and Shutters. Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. The season is changing and we have a great selection of special occasion wear in sizes 10 to 24. We're all individual, so come in store and try on so that we can find the perfect fit to make you look and feel wonderful. After 50 years as a South Australian family business, we have the knowledge and expertise to help you choose the finest outfit to suit any occasion. Joyreen Fashions for mothers and daughters, 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
Welcome to Amy's Everyday Arena, where competitor Keith is at the barbie. Oh my, a sausage is on fire. He makes a break for it, clears a hurdle of bikes, and plonks that blazing bratwurst into the bin. Oh, and he's knocked over the shed. Luckily, when accidents happen at home, Amy can help cover it. Who helps cover the challenges of the Everyday Arena? Amy does. Optional accidental damage at home cover is available with Amy Home Building and Contents Insurance. Exclusions apply. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries whatever the weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 to 8, John Blake very shortly. Let's talk weather first. Amelia Mulcahy joins us on this Monday morning. Morning to you, Amelia.
What a day yesterday, Amelia.
23.8 degrees to top in Adelaide. That was our warmest day since May. I'd much rather talk about that than today's forecast because sadly our sunshine and our warm weather is long gone. We've got we had a cold front roll through last night, sort of between 7 and 8 o'clock. If you were driving around then, I was on my way home from work last night, you would have seen maybe a bit of lightning in the sky, certainly some gusty conditions and showers too, and we saw them on and off overnight too. If you're a light sleeper, you might have heard there was a bit of a doozy around, I think, 2:30 in the morning, a line of showers, hail, gusty winds. So we've just really seen some gusty conditions in the wake of that cold front and just a real cold outbreak in the wake of that front too. So we're going for a top of 14 degrees, but it'll feel, everyone's favourite concept, it'll feel much colder for most of the day today. We've got sort of onshore winds and they'll turn southerly later in the day, and that's when you'll really notice that chill. Showers more likely probably this morning and not as likely later on during the day. So you might be okay if you sort of, ride the bike home from work tonight. Probably not this morning, though. We've got showers right now about the northern suburbs, a little bit about the hills, and there's a line just approaching Noarlunga this morning too. Now, we had about 4.6 millimetres in the gauge, to about this point this morning. That pretty much brings us up to 375 millimetres in Adelaide for the year so far. That's where we should be after our wet sort of June and July. Hasn't really been a wetter than average August per se, but we could add to that total this week. We could see another shower tomorrow. That's more likely about the hills and southern suburbs. Another shower or two Wednesday, 15 degrees, and then cold overnight into Thursday, partly cloudy, 15 degrees the top then. And my pick of the week is Friday, 19, with showers returning over the weekend. But for now, guys, a few showers around today and much colder than yesterday, like a difference of about 10 degrees. So rug up and get into Monday.
Beautiful.
Good on you, Amelia. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News. I got so depressed about the weather forecast this week, I actually Googled what are the monthly averages to give myself something to look forward to. So 16.6 is the mean max temperature in August, but September goes up to 19.1 being the average. October's when we start hitting the sweet spot, 22.2. So I just want to, can we fast forward to the October long weekend?
Full about this. Yesterday was superb.
Yes.
I did 4 hours gardening. I
get greedy. I get greedy for the good weather. Yesterday I was thinking, can it be just like this every day? And then I thought, actually, it is.
It's quite deceptive because it looks really nice outside at the moment.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not going to last.
It isn't. All right, let's...
it's not going to last forever, see? We'll have sunny days again, Will. Sunny days again.
So, thank you. I needed
We
that.
need to talk this up.
I needed that this morning.
Yeah. I'm here to help.
It's time for John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 1364.
All the COVID-19 news updates can be really depressing, so here are the top 6 pandemic jokes so far.
Went out the other day and bought a map of the world, and I gave my wife a dart. I said, honey, throw this, and wherever it lands, that's where I'm taking you when the pandemic's over. Very excited. Turns out we're spending 2 weeks behind the fridge. Back in my day, you'd cough when you wanted to cover up a fart, you know. Now with COVID, it's the other way round.
Lockdown, of course, has had very serious consequences for the comedy industry. For a long time now, nobody at all's walked into a bar. So
The World Health Organisation, which we commonly refer to as WHO, the WHO, they announced that dogs can't contract COVID-19. So dogs previously held in quarantine can now be released. To be clear, who let the dogs out? No. The pandemic affects everything. For instance, if I tell you a COVID-19 joke now, you've got to wait 14 days before it's funny. When the pandemic started, there was a toilet paper shortage, so I started using lettuce leaves to wipe. It was just the tip of the iceberg, you know. No, it's okay, I put the rest of it back in the fridge. So.
Jerry John Blake Seinfeld then.
That was superb.
That was excellent stuff.
It's quite a large
I hope
crowd.
we get more of that. That was good.
Large crowd he had too. I hope it was COVID safe.
Socially distanced, of course.
When he started talking about the dart, I was worried he was going to tell a Rodney Rood sketch.
4 minutes
board at me.
4 minutes to 8. Talk real estate in just a moment.
Start building now, and you could be living the life many envy at the 19th. Choose your architecturally designed 2, 3 or 4 bedroom luxury home package now from just $730K. The 19th at West offers an incredible lifestyle. Explore West's green pathways by foot or bike, sail or paddle on the iconic lake, swim at Grange Beach, or play around at the Grange Golf Club. It's all yours from just $730K, but you'd better be quick. Visit the19thwest.com.au today.
$1 mattress upsize deal now at Harvey Norman. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen-size mattress or ensemble from King Coil, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker or Beauty Rest, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king size. Support local manufacturers and buy Australian-made. That's right. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen mattress or ensemble, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king. In-store purchases only. $1 mattress upsize deal. On now at Harvey Norman.
Hi there, I'm Grishma, a Specsavers optometrist. Did you know that every Specsavers is locally owned and operated by an optometrist, just like me? We believe eye tests should reveal more, not cost more, which is why we include an OCT advanced 3D eye scan with every eye test at no extra charge. Does your optometrist? Experience the Specsavers difference and book your eye test today. We're here to look after your eye health and keep you safe in store. Visit specsavers.com.au.
Everyone's built differently, so why shouldn't our beds be? At RB Day & Sons Supercraft Bedding, we supply a wide range of electrically adjustable beds and manufacture tailor-made mattresses. As an accredited NDIS provider, we regularly work with the healthcare, disability and aged care sectors to provide sleeping solutions to meet every Aussie's needs. Call or email today for a chat or to book a one-on-one appointment with us at supercraft.com.au. RB Day & Sons Supercraft Bedding, building better beds.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Minute to 8. Time to talk real estate. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop's on the line. Morning, Susanna.
Good morning, guys.
Beautiful weekend weather-wise. How was it in the real estate world?
It was. Look, we had some big results at auction again this weekend.
We had a beautiful character home with 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom and a pool on about 695 square metres in Croydon. It went under the hammer and sold for $1.31 million. And in Fulham Gardens, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on 905 square metres on a corner allotment, sold for $1.375 million. So some huge results there. And on the rental side, we saw over 140 tenants for our rental open homes in the last week. There's no sign that the rental market's slowing down either.
1.3 million in Croydon, 1.37 million in Fulham Gardens. I reckon 10 years ago, you would have been flat out finding a house anywhere in both of those suburbs for more than $1 million.
Oh, it's just been incredible. And we're starting to see suburb records being set. I know Thomas in our team is continuously setting new records almost every week down in the west there. It's just, I mean, you're so close to the beach. You've got the city right there. And I really think it's a pocket that's been untapped for a long, long time, as you said. I mean, my goodness, if you bought 4, 5, 6 years ago there and now you're seeing these types of dollars come through, it really is. It's just taking off, and you can see why. It's got all the fundamentals right there, and people really want to move to the area and are enjoying the lifestyle that it offers.
Are they locals that have bought the houses, Susanna, or are they interstate people?
Look, the one in Fulham Gardens, I believe, was a developer, so being a corner allotment in that such prime location. So that's really got a lot of interest at the moment, and we are seeing developers out and about. But we are also seeing people moving from interstate back home. So we talked, I think, net migration, we talked about it being, I think it's the first time in 30 years that it's been a positive. So a lot of people moving back to Adelaide. So that's really, so it's a mix of interstate, developers, even investors are back in the market now because Adelaide's offering such great returns. It really is a mix, and all you need is all those people there at auction putting their hand up, and the prices are just going up.
So what kind of rentals are the most popular at the moment?
Look, we're seeing from affordable 2-bedroom units right through to the top end. We had some great results in Prospect and Glenelg with over 180 inquiries on a 2-bedroom unit in Prospect and rented out for $280 per week. And in Glenelg, a 2-bedroom unit, we had over 90 inquiries and at least just $345 per week. But also the top end, so $800 plus up to $1,600 and above per week. We had a stunning 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom character home in Croydon up for rent, at least for $850 per week, and again, breaking the suburb record. So Croydon, you've got amazing results happening on the sales side, but for rent as well, we're just seeing incredible results right through that pocket there.
Good stuff. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Always great to catch up. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 14 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience. With 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
Up to 50 fully vaccinated interstate and overseas arrivals will take part in a home quarantine trial in SA. State-of-the-art electronic monitoring will be used instead of Medi hotels. SA Health and SAPOL will oversee the pilot scheme. Premier Stephen Marshall says if it's successful, it will be rolled out across the country.
We're starting this week with people coming back from New South Wales, predominantly, and a few from Victoria, but ultimately we'll be opening up to specially selected low-risk individuals coming in from overseas. We'll see how it runs, and then we'll report to the National Cabinet.
On the subject of football, the Premier says crowd capacity at Adelaide Oval this weekend is unlikely to be increased for the Port Geelong game. The current limit is 15,000. Meantime, there was a mad rush for South Aussies trying to get home from Victoria yesterday. Border restrictions were tightened even further from 6 p.m. Well, South Australia's had a record week for COVID-19 vaccinations. Latest data shows more than 98,000 doses were administered last week. Last Wednesday, over 17,000 vaccines were delivered in a single day for the first time. Health Minister Stephen Wade says it's pleasing to see.
I think the two key factors to the increase in the vaccine take-up has been the expansion of the age eligibility, but also the fact that South Australians are seeing what's happening across the border.
An infectious diseases expert warns New South Wales could soon be seeing more than 1,000 COVID cases a day. The state recorded 830 yesterday, with a focus now on children and their risk of transmission. Professor Mary Louise McLaws has told Today we need more information about the risk of COVID in kids.
We need that granular information so that the public can start cooperating and understanding where the risk is and why they're being asked to do certain things.
COVID antibody testing is being rolled out to the general public in the UK for the first time to find out how much natural protection people develop after getting the virus. The finger prick test kits will be sent home to those who opt into the program after contracting COVID-19. A 21-year-old Mount Barker man has been given an expiation notice for failing to keep control of his vehicle. It follows a car rollover near the base of the freeway shortly before 5 a.m. Hopes of finding a missing man who fell into the River Murray on the weekend are fading. The 72-year-old from Paringa didn't resurface late Saturday afternoon, just north of Renmark. The search continues today. Former Liberal MP Craig Kelly will contest the next federal election for the United Australia Party. Mr Kelly quit the Liberals earlier this year after continuing to undermine the federal government's COVID-19 messaging. He, along with United Australia founder Clive Palmer, have been vocal critics of vaccinations and lockdowns. The US is calling in commercial planes to help with evacuating people out of Afghanistan. The Pentagon says the aircraft will not fly to Kabul, but will move people transiting in third countries. More than 28,000 people have now been evacuated by coalition forces in less than 2 weeks. President Joe Biden says the operation is gathering pace.
24-hour period this weekend, 23 U.S. military flights, including 14 C-17s, 9 C-130 flights left Kabul carrying 3,900 passengers. We see no reason why this tempo will not be kept up.
More than 20 people have been killed in catastrophic flooding in the US state of Tennessee. Dozens more are still missing after torrential rain lifted homes from their foundations and uprooted trees west of Nashville. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide's players will begin their exit meetings at Westlakes today following their final match of the season against North Melbourne. It was a winning farewell for Tom Lynch and Dave McKay, but the result does mean the Crows slip in the draft order from number 2 to number 4. Port Adelaide, meantime, will hold a light session at Alberton as they prepare for Friday night's blockbuster qualifying final against Geelong. Forward Mitch Georgiades will miss the match, though, after injuring his hamstring. And David Teague says he's expecting an update about his coaching future today. Over the weekend, Teague admitted it didn't look like it was going to be in his favour. To tennis, and Ash Barty's remarkable 2021 has continued after she blitzed her Swiss opponent Jill Tuckman 6-3, 6-1 in the final. Barty quick to thank her team and then the crowd.
It was so nice to play out in front of you again. I've seen so many smiling kids enjoying tennis. You genuinely reminded me of how much I love this sport, so thank you so much for coming out and making it such a joy for us players. Thank you.
And there she's a star. Audio thanks to Fox. Meantime, on the men's side, Alexander Zverev has taken things out after beating Andrei Rublev. To soccer, and Chelsea's on top of the English Premier League table after a 2-0 win against Arsenal. Elsewhere, Manchester United was made to work hard, having to fight back from a goal down to get a draw against Southampton.
Pogba in towards Bruno Fernandes, couldn't quite supply him with a return ball, but Greenwood can supply the equaliser.
And Tottenham had a 1-0 win against Wolverhampton. And fans have stormed the pitch at a French football match, starting a melee with coaching staff, security and the players. It kicked off after Marseille player Dimitri Payet was hit by a water bottle, which he threw back into the crowd of Nice supporters. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Vale Park this morning, got a collision northeast road at Ascot Avenue. That is causing a few delays. Avoid that area if you can this morning. Got some power outages in and around Brompton this morning. Be aware of that one if you're driving through that area. Northfield, expect delays Green Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, affecting both directions, speeds at 25 k's. And cameras this morning, Commercial Road, Seaford Meadows, Gawler River Road, Lewiston, and Hub Drive at Aberfoyle Park. Census night was Tuesday the 10th of August. It's not too late, so complete now. Visit census.abs.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers 14 today, a possible shower tomorrow 14, then a shower or two and 15 on Wednesday. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8:09. How would you vote in a referendum on shop trading hours? Feels like we've had this debate since Federation, but we haven't. It's been more recent than that. Would a referendum finally bring about a resolution? You happy for the Parliament to deal with it? It appears it's again not going to pass the Parliament, so the state government contemplating going down the rather dramatic referendum path. How would you vote? We'll be chatting very shortly with the CEO of the National Retail Association. We've done some research. They believe it'd get up at referendum. So we'll talk about that. Then after 8:30 today, the host of Channel 7's Sunrise program, and we've got a carton of wines to give away that we'll be doing before 9 o'clock as well. But first, it's time for Breaking It 8.
Well, just over a week ago, the South Australian branch of the construction union, the CFMEU, was slapped with record fines, $428,500, close to $500,000, for a whole range of incidents that occurred a couple of years ago at the airport expansion work site, the Watpac site, as it's known. Several office bearers and members of the CFMEU were fined individually, and the union was fined collectively for a whole bunch of right of entry disputes where they refused to show their permits to enter work sites. They ignored legally valid directions, and they also bullied workers at the airport job. They're the findings of the federal court. Well, how's this? 3 days, just 3 days after that judgment was brought down, in a development which suggests that the union was in no way chastened by what occurred in that trial. So the judgment was brought down Friday, the week before last. On Monday, the union here launched a menacing and profanity-laden social media campaign against one of its own former state secretaries, who is now working as a private consultant for the building industry. You might remember we did the story a year or so ago about Aaron Cartledge, who for many years was the SA secretary of the CFMEU. He was no shrinking violet. There were plenty of times where he was absolutely in the thick of industrial disputes against builders. But even with that pedigree, he fell foul of John Setka, the Victorian firebrand, who's often been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. I can't even go close to repeating the language which John Setka used to describe Aaron Cartledge in an email to the entire national CFMEU leadership, but it was along the lines of weak blanks. You can't actually tidy it up because it's it's like
it's as bad as you can imagine.
Yeah, it's off the charts, crazy. So anyway, Aaron is now working as a sort of industrial consultant, where he advises employers in the union on their rights and responsibilities under industrial law. And he's been doing a bit of work on a building site run by a group called Synergy Construct. So he's at work last week. Members of the CFMEU took 2 photographs of him, one a close-up of his face, and they touched up the photograph and put a red arrow on it. And then they took a full-length one of him, just sort of ambushed him as he left the site. And this guy, who's the Assistant Secretary of the Union here in South Australia, published the 2 photographs on his Facebook page, and he wrote this caption on it: ex-State Secretary Aaron Cartledge giving pointers on how to F the union to anti-union builders. Anything for a wage, hey? Now, the post prompted a tirade of comments. There were about 33 as of Friday afternoon. They were along the lines of effing germ, grub, dirty dog, union rat, filth, dirty, rotten, treacherous sellout parasite. There were emojis of excrement, the poo emoji. There were emojis of dogs, of rats. Someone took a photograph out of some gardening catalogue of something called Grub Killer and said they should use this on him. There were comments about him being a dead set dog. And then there were comments that drifted into the menacing. One guy wrote, water seeking its own level. And a bloke wrote back, and that level is going to get flushed. And then another one simply said, someone will pick him off.
God.
Now, the people who wrote this, these aren't sort of rank and file grunts. A lot of them are actual assistant secretaries of the union at the national level from across the country, and they've all got form. So one of the blokes who is on Facebook calling Aaron Cartledge an effing grub is the WA Assistant Secretary, Brad Upton. Now, Brad Upton was convicted in 2018 for breaching industrial laws 3 times at a gas project in Western Australia, where he called non-union workers on the site effing dog C's, and then said, if you don't effing like it, F off elsewhere. We got you these conditions. We know who you are. We're going to put your names on the back of the toilet doors. There were 3 other guys who were office bearers who've all got convictions as well, including the guy, Desmond Tyvaringa Savage, who's the Assistant Secretary here now. He was one of the guys who was fined the previous Friday, and then on the Monday they did this to Aaron Cartledge. It is quite extraordinary. It does say something about the culture of this organisation. In passing, I'd note that Mr. Savage, the mastermind behind this campaign, he appears on his own Facebook page wearing one of those sort of gangster-style hoodies that the modern generation of CFMU leaders seem to be quite taken by, and it's got this sort of gothic script on it, and it says, God forgives, the CFMU doesn't. Well, neither does the federal court, it would seem. It's sad, actually, because, you know, this union's always been pretty aggro, but there's people in it who I know and respect. I think the National Secretary, Dave Noonan, is like a really, really good bloke. And interestingly, to wrap the story up, late Friday, after I contacted the union, all the Facebook posts vanished, which suggests they know that, in hindsight, maybe they weren't exactly putting their best foot forward yet again.
I can't imagine this kind of thing goes on at the AEU or the Nursing and Midwifery Association.
No, and the collective damage that it does to the idea of people getting involved in unions is immense.
Oh, massively. It's totally self-defeating.
The other thing too, like, these blokes are flat out getting through a sentence without using the C word. And, you know, and it's kind of laughable too at the same time. You know, they're going to protest in support of gender equality.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's tough.
Hey, guys, you know, maybe just wind down the macho a bit.
16 minutes after 8, 822 300 is our number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line on 0448 08 1395. Let's check traffic. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and our Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Coromandel Valley got a 2-car collision on Main Road near Ackland Hill Road. Vale Park, another crash there. This one's on North East Road and Ascot Avenue, causing a few delays. Got some blackouts too in and around Brompton this morning. Beware of that. And in Northfield, expect delays Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, affecting both directions, speeds of 25 k's. Cameras to look out for: Baines Road, Onkaparinga Hills, Commercial Road, Seaford Meadows, and Gawler Road at Lewiston. Sleepmaker are Australian. They make their mattresses here in Australia using Australian fabric, steel and foam for Australians like you. Sleepmaker, the maker of Australia's mattress. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like the 2-hour lineup at the Port Elliot Bakery, or the lofty view from the summit, from the ultra-realistic bunyip at the bridge, to the sparkling floors of the Central Market. Things that make our fine state. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. There is SASAA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
You could easily be living the life, but you'll need to be quick. The 19th at West is selling premium 2, 3 and 4 bedroom architecturally designed homes from just $730K. Stunning homes with a stunning lifestyle. Explore West's green pathways, paddle on the iconic lake, swim at Grange Beach, or play around at the Grange Golf Club. Start building now and move in next year. Hurry, from $730K, they'll sell fast. Visit the19thwest.com.au.
Home renovations can be akin to climbing Everest. Every step of the way can be torturous to reach your ultimate goal. Well, the same could be said for home renovations, but not if you go with Bi-Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. The team at Buy Urban have always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. So start your journey with Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
It may not be that exciting to learn that Playford Pavers are one of the few companies that still make their own pavers on site. Riveting, isn't it? But what if I told you that because Playford Pavers make their own pavers for driveways, entertaining areas and pathways, you pay a lot less? How good is that? Pay less at Playford Pavers. Visit playfordpavers.com.au.
Living with a constant low-level noise can have serious impacts on sleep and well-being, but the brain can be taught to isolate the noise and ignore it. The Tinnitus Treatment Phone app can help train your mind while you sleep. Developed in Adelaide by ENT specialist Dr. JC Hodge, studies show that 75% of patients hear an improvement in their tinnitus within the first 6 weeks of treatment. Search Tinnitus Treatment in your app store and sleep away tinnitus with a free 30-day trial.
Hi, Crystal here from Southside Suzuki. If you're looking for an incredible deal on a new or used Suzuki, then pop in and see me and my team at Southside Suzuki. The Suzuki range of new cars are value-packed and backed by a 5-year warranty, cap price servicing and roadside assistance, should you ever need it. View our range online or visit us at Southside Suzuki, Beach Road, Christie's Beach.
Life's a beach, Southside Suzuki.
LVD 2009.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 after 8. We've got a carton of Gummersaw wines to give away. These are fantastic.
They are.
We'll do it over the course of the next 20 minutes. We want people to call in on 8223 and tell us the skill they have in common with their sibling.
Oh, that's a good one.
Skill they have in common with a sibling. What is something that was, maybe it's hereditary, maybe it's something that passed down through the generations. And of course we do this on the occasion of the sad passing of Don Everly and the Everly brothers. And we remarked earlier about their incredible vocal talents and how it was from an era pre-auto-tune when if you weren't good, you just weren't good.
Yeah.
And they were great. So 8223 let us know the talent you have in common with your sibling.
The state election's being held in March, and for the, let me check, third time in a row, the Liberals will be running on a promise yet again of fully deregulating shop trading hours. Even though they won the election in their own right last time, the opposition, the independents, have stymied them in their attempts to reform shop trading hours this term. And now, as the government moves to introduce a referendum bill so that this can be put to a vote concurrently at the election next year, it looks like that too is doomed. Dominic Lamb is the Chief Executive of the National Retailers Association. Dominic, good morning. Thanks for your time. I imagine quite clearly you guys would be in favour of a referendum.
Look, we absolutely are, but I guess the polling that we participated in really is screaming that the people of Adelaide are really expecting and wanting some reform of trading hours.
So can I just to work out where you're coming from, who do you represent? Like, are you... When the National Retailers Association, is that the big supermarkets?
No, funnily enough, we actually represent everybody. So micro-business, pure player onliners, all categories of retail. And in fact, our membership is typically incredibly diversified. So quick service, restaurants, cafes, small businesses, and in fact, 97% of our membership is actually small business.
Yeah, right. What do you represent? Drake's, Foodland, Chanel's? Because there's a lot of smaller supermarkets here who are quite happy with the current arrangements.
Well, I know they are, and no, we don't represent them. But certainly we have heard from similar outlets in other states when it comes to trading hours. But at the end of the day, I think that the changing in consumer habits is really moving towards the fact that consumers want to be able to access other forms of retail outside of the hours that they currently can.
Well, I guess the strongest point I think against the status quo is that that's already happening. And if anything, it's been hastened during the pandemic, where the shops are open 24 hours a day because the shops are now everywhere. The shops are Amazon. The shops are, Discogs. The shops are anything online, and yet people locally still have their hands tied.
You're absolutely right. We know that prior to the COVID-19, that Australians would spend about 9.5% online. That's now increased to over 16% and is projected to go to 20%. More than ever, we are seeing people shop online, and the demographics for that have changed. It's now the younger demographic and also the older demographic that are now willing to engage with online stores. And where we have lockdowns, of course, it means that these businesses simply can't trade. And if you don't have an online store, you're completely locked out from an income stream, which is very concerning.
Were any responses from employees captured in the polling data, and how did they respond to the question about the extension of shop trading hours?
Certainly employees were very much in favour of the extension of trading hours because they know that there is, potential or access to additional hours as a worker. So you're likely to earn more money, or you can choose to work additional hours, which will in turn give you more money. So I think the figure is about $68 million in terms of wages if this change was to go through.
Mm. Dominic Lamb, the Chief Executive of the National Retailers Association, thank you very much for your time on 5AA Breakfast this morning. Let us know you'd vote, folks. 8223 0000. Text on the Telstra Summit Barker text line. I can't see how we'll get it passage. The upper house is entirely hostile to the prospect of anything shop trading hours at this point in time. And so unless the complexion of things changes markedly at the next election, and I think it would be incredibly dramatic if it was to do so.
The Greens are against it. SA Best are against it. So that's Connie Benares and Frank Pangello. John Darley, the Independent, he's against it. And the opposition's obviously against it as well. So there's zero chance that it's going to pass. I'm just not sure if it doesn't pass, is there any way it can still be put as a question? Is there a backdoor way that the government can get it through by regulation or something?
Well, we've had instances where the Treasurer, Rob Lucas, has made a direction on public holidays to allow trading. They've done part.
That's like an industrial thing, though.
It is.
That's wearing his industrial relations.
Yeah, that's right.
He's allowed to do that, and because at the moment we've sort of had deregulation by default, because he's repeatedly granted exemptions during the life of this government. I guess the thing is, what the legal change would mean is that it's open slather all the time.
To your point, I worry about bricks and mortar businesses in an environment we've just spent 18 months training everyone, down to people who have no interest in shopping online, how to shop online. Like we have never, to think we've spent 18 months just teaching everyone on earth how you do click and collect.
Yeah.
How you do these sorts of things.
But the landscape is a bit different in SA with our huge number of independent and smaller supermarket chains. And I even know, Manny down the road at the fruit shop in Goodwood, the 2 hour jump he gets on a Sunday morning over Coles and Woolworths is beneficial, because a lot of people, and it's quite relaxing. I mean, it's always more relaxing shopping in a store like that anyway. But you go in, get some mushies, get some tomatoes, get some bread. Go
Food's
home.
Part
And
what
breakfast.
about what about retail? What about clothes stores?
Well,
they're the ones I think of in this debate.
I needed to go to Big W yesterday to get some phone chargers because it sold me the wrong bits when I went in there Saturday, and I had to return them. And I'm sitting around the house 9:20, and I thought, oh, that's right, I've got to wait an hour 40 to do this. I mean, it's hardly the most, crushing inconvenience in the history of my life, but it is a bit weird. I mean, it's weird when you think about things like the Mile End Homemaker Centre.
Absolutely.
But yet, why is Bunnings open at 9, but Mile End's not?
I don't know. Dave's called in. Morning to you, Dave.
How are we, fellas?
Good, mate.
I worked in retail for 40 years as a butcher. You've got to walk a long way now to find a small butcher shop. Besides that, I worked in a shop at North Adelaide that was a 7-day shop. When we first opened Rundle Mall on Sundays, believe it or not, our shop dropped 40% in turnover. 3 jobs went. Those jobs weren't picked up in the city. The other thing is, when the big boys get their way and they get their deregulated shopping hours, they'll change the hours back to what suits them. So you probably won't get any more. They'll just rejig them like they have now with the hours they've got, and you'll be serving yourself after 5, 6 o'clock at night, because that's exactly what's happening now. There'll be no jobs. Don't get conned by this new job or there'll be more jobs, because the people that lose their jobs in small business won't pick up jobs, and the people working at Coles, Woolies and that, they won't get any extra work because it'll all be done by serve yourself checkouts.
Yeah.
Good on you, Dave. Thank
Yeah,
you. 8223 0000 is the number. 29 minutes after 8. We've got some wines, some cracking Gummersall wines to give away. Their 21st birthday celebration this Saturday is a free event with plenty to celebrate, including 60% off current and back vintage Gummersall wines. And we're talking about the Everly brothers.
Bye-bye love, bye-bye happiness, hello loneliness.
Super talented siblings. What's a talent you share with your sibling? Give us a call, 8223 0000, and you could win that carton of Gummersall wine.
This is a message to all local businesses.
On behalf of all radio listeners.
Let's hear from you. Yeah, we want to know when your shoes are on sale.
If you can help me remortgage.
Or landscape my yard.
There's more of us listening to radio than ever before.
In our cars, on our phones, laptops, smart speakers.
In fact, 95% of all Australians.
That's a lot of potential new customers. So come on.
We're all ears.
Advertise on radio and watch your business grow. For help with radio advertising, visit radioalive.com.au.
I'm James Wohlers. Did you realise at Wohlers we still make our own timber furniture? We offer everything from bedroom and dining right through to living and outdoor. We can even design custom pieces just for you. From our classic Victorian antique reproductions or our everyday Havana ranges right through to our colourful boho furniture featured on Adelaide. If you have a passion for timber like me, come and visit one of our Wohlers showrooms at Mount Barker, Richmond and Tanunda.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 14 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Selected arrivals in SA this week will enter a home quarantine program instead of a Medi hotel. The pilot scheme is only open to fully vaccinated interstate and overseas travellers and involves electronic monitoring. Premier Stephen Marshall says Medi hotels have worked well, but the landscape is changing.
The resource intensity of having the police going around to check on people in homes is just too great. That's why we've used hotel-based quarantine. But this is not going to be suitable as we go to larger numbers and as the risk decreases.
Crowd capacity at Adelaide Oval this weekend is unlikely to be increased for the Port Geelong game, according to the Premier. There's a call to up it to 25,000. It's currently 15,000. Meantime, as of 6 last night, the SA Victoria border closure was beefed up. Anyone wanting to come home or relocate here will need a special exemption. SA's vaccination program has stepped up a notch. Health Minister Stephen Wade says we've seen record numbers in the past week.
98,000 doses of the vaccine were put into the arms of South Australians. Previous record was 87,000. We also had our record day. On Wednesday of last week, we had 17,000 vaccines delivered in a single day.
Queensland's Deputy Police Commissioner has expressed his disappointment after an anti-lockdown protest at the Queensland-New South Wales border. About 2,000 people turned out in Coolangatta and Tweed Heads. Steve Gosiewski has told Today it's not wise to protest during a pandemic.
If you wanted to do something that could spread COVID, that's exactly the sort of thing that's going to do that. And as we know, why we've got those restrictions in place on our border is to keep COVID out of Queensland. If it gets in, we're going to end up in exactly the same space as we see other parts of the country, and that's certainly not what we want.
And in breaking news, Victoria has recorded another 71 new local COVID cases today. 25,000 people have now been evacuated from Afghanistan more than a week after it fell to the Taliban. Nine's US correspondent Michael Genovese reports.
The United States continues to run the multi-country evacuation mission, the Pentagon ordering 6 commercial airlines to help, meaning 18 extra planes will now remove evacuees from US air bases in Bahrain, Qatar and the UAE. But at Kabul airport, a bottleneck of Afghans remain. It's been confirmed 7 were killed in the crowd yesterday while trying to reach the tarmac.
Don Everly of the Everly Brothers died over the weekend at the age of 84. They were the first group to be inaugurated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986 and had a string of hits, including this one.
Wake up, little Susie, wake up. We've both been sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep.
Now Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide coach Matthew Nicks has rubbish suggestions. A loss would have been a better result for the club. Yesterday's 44-point win against North Melbourne means the Crows will now get pick 4 instead of pick 2 in the draft. But Nicks is adamant building a winning culture is far more important.
There's so much talent in the draft. We will find a good player in the draft, no matter where it is, at 2, 4, 5, 6. We're here to build a long-term culture. We're here to build long-term sustained success, as I said. This is not about playing for a draft pick to get 2 picks higher.
Meantime, Port Adelaide Vice-Captain Ollie Wine says the team is excited by the prospect of another final series which kicks off on Friday night against Geelong.
Yeah, very excited. Back at home, I think the crowd capacity is probably going to stay the same at 15,000, but it's better than none, and we know how loud our supporters are, so very excited. It's pretty much the same match-up as we had last year where we progressed straight to the semi, so it's going to be, an electric night.
Yeah, can't wait. Well, world number 1 tennis player Ash Barty is turning her attention to the US Open after claiming her 5th title of 2021. That was at the Cincinnati Masters. She's looking to back up her win at Wimbledon with another major title in New York. Barty says she's looking forward to arriving in the Big Apple.
I love the city itself, and I can't wait to get there. It's been a couple of years since we have been back in New York City, and I'm excited to get there and do some of my favourite things outside of the tennis court.
And in the EPL, Chelsea has beaten Arsenal 2-0. Tottenham had a 1-0 win over Wolverhampton, while Southampton and Manchester United drew 1-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Coromandel Valley, got a 2-car collision main road near Ackland Hill Road. Vale Park, 2-car crash at North East Road and Ascot Avenue. Heavy delays there this morning. Got a few blackouts in and around Brompton. Keep that in mind if you're driving through there today. And Northfield, expect delays Grange Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, affecting both directions, and speeds are at 25 k's. Cameras Teal Highway, Freeling and Majors Road at O'Halloran Hill. Introducing new Primo Scrambles. Simply add a fresh egg for a delicious hot breakfast in just 1 minute. Look for Primo Scrambles with the chilled eggs in your supermarket today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers and 14 today, 14 tomorrow, 15 with a shower or 2 Wednesday. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
If you're planning an event, whether it's a small meeting with the latest in reliable technology or a large gala dinner full of glitz and glamour, you'll experience event excellence on every level at the Adelaide Convention Centre. Excellence in understanding your needs and delivering them to exacting standards is what we do. And we don't just aim for excellence, we go beyond. So for your next excellent event, the team is ready and waiting at the Adelaide Convention Centre, the centre of event excellence.
Sold by McGain. Again. And we all know that the team at McGain is solid as a rock when it comes to selling your home, which is why you'll see Sold by McGain signs time and time again.
You certainly will. But what we really love most about this incredible team is their care factor. It's through the roof. In fact, they were among the people who came to the Lysing fundraiser on Thursday night. Mike and his wife were there. They just said, yep, we're down for 2 tickets, so good on. The care factor's through the roof, especially when it comes to community.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they won't mind us mentioning they made a very generous donation to this year's Undy Drive. So a big thanks from the entire team at 5AA again and again and again.
So if you're thinking of selling your home, get in touch with the team at McGain for a free appraisal. Visit mcgain.com.au.
Census night was
22 minutes to 9. Avanti Care's Healthcare Hero nominations are open right now, but time is running out. If you know someone who works for the health and well-being of others, they could get $1,000, all thanks to Avanti Care's Healthcare Heroes. Aged care, disability care, allied health, medical professions, anyone that's not covered in that you think should be, they all count. So head to the win page, 5AA.com.au. But as I say, this is not open-ended. This doesn't run forever. Time's running out. So if you've been dallying, get there now. Go there. In fact, go there right now. Go there at this very instant. 5AA.com.au and nominate. so that they have a chance to win $1,000 cash, all thanks to Avanti Care. All right, let's do Fuel Watch as well, because we've got some fuel information that's come through thanks to the award-winning team at Dave Potter, who are now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW. Petrol has jumped up yesterday to $1.69 in the CBD and eastern suburbs and the inner west. Looks still be cheap elsewhere. You can get it at $1.35 at Paraka on Main North Road. That's good. $1.31 along Anzac Highway in Plimpton and Everard Park is better. And $1.29 all up North East Road is best you'll find on this Monday morning. We've got a carton of Gummersall wine to give away. Their 21st birthday celebration this Saturday. They've got a free event. It's going to be fantastic. They've also got up to 60% off current and back vintage Gummersall wines. We've got a carton to give away. Talking about the Everly brothers this morning, we're asking you about the skills you share with your sibling. Mary in Flagstaff Hill, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. The skill I share with my 7 siblings is good looks.
Well, that's going to take some beating,
of
Mary.
you. So 8 of you all up, Mary?
Yes, there are 8 of us.
Oh, wow. My mum's one of 9. Families were bigger back in the day.
Absolutely.
Where do you fit in, Mary, with the siblings? Are you in the middle?
No, I'm the best one because I was the first girl after 5 boys.
Oh,
really?
Gee, you would have been a favourite.
Yes, absolutely.
My mum's the first girl of 4 girls.
Oh, that's great, Mary. Thank you. Let's go to Port Adelaide. Daryl, good morning.
Hey, David, Will, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
With my son collecting music, albums and singles and all that sort of stuff. I started in the 60s, and my first record was Johnny O'Keefe. And over the years, my son's gone on to the music too. And now he lives over in Melbourne at the moment, but he's got over 3,000 albums and and CDs and singles. And I used to have about 600 singles over the years, but I got rid of them over time. But he every time we used to just play music from 60s, 70s, 80s, right through. So he's all types of music. So we're still going with it now. So and now I'm into country music. Well, he's not into country music, but that's what I've got in common with my son. So we're happy with that.
Good
stuff,
Daryl. That's lovely. We've got some texts through on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line too.
Rock says he shares confusion with his brother. I'm right-handed, left-footed. He kicks right, handballs left. My son's right-handed, left-footed, but bats left-handed. His son plays soccer right-footed and footy left-footed. Rock, I've got to say...
You're one of those people, aren't you? You're mixed.
I'm right-handed, but I play golf and cricket left-handed. I mean, I play golf and cricket badly left-handed.
My father's like that, but that was from the era where, the left hand was evil. So I think he was naturally left-handed, but then got taught to do everything right-handed, and is weirdly, could bowl both arms.
Funny, isn't it?
Bizarre. But yeah, he's
left-handed people were thought of as evil.
Totally, yeah.
Historically. You know the word sinister? It comes from the Latin sinistra, which means left.
You weren't allowed to write left-handed. They said slap that out of your hand and do...
You used to get hit with a ruler.
Yeah, do it right-handed.
It is weird. Well, because when you're writing left-handed...
It looks awkward.
You smudge all the ink.
It looks awkward. Yeah, I know. I do feel sorry for them in that way. But then they get the added benefit of everything they do in sport just looks better. Yes. Left-handed batsmen look better. Left-handed kicks always look better in football. Left-handedness just looks, there's something stylish about it.
Now, look, we've had a lot of text this morning. Just got another one just now on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line about Barry. You'll remember Barry called in a somewhat confused state at 5 to 7 on Friday morning after, really throwing himself into things at karaoke.
He supported the karaoke night enthusiastically.
He did. Perhaps with what his wife might regard as an excess of enthusiasm. The good news is Barry's home. Barry got home safe.
Yes.
On Friday, and he was in the doghouse. And he did say to us that if we do ever hold another karaoke night, he's not allowed to come. My mother-in-law said she was with some friends on Saturday, and the only thing they were all talking about was Barry's wild night.
I think I got to say, in the 7 years we've been doing this, that's probably the wildest moment this show's ever had. 81-year-old Barry called it on Friday morning.
Saying, have you been home yet? Oh, hell no.
Wandering aimlessly around Grote Street after being put in a motel. Okay.
Good on you, Baz. You're a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Kay in Paradise, what's the skill you share with your sibling?
We shared the love of table tennis.
Really?
And, yes, at 13 and 15, we actually reached the final of the Women's Open Doubles, which was a mean feat for that age group.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Unfortunately, we were beaten by the top pair in Australia, but it was really nice to share that with my sister.
Do you still play, Kay?
Yes, I do. My sister, unfortunately, had a lot of health issues, so she dropped out. But no, I've been in the sport 50-odd years now and giving back to the sport I love.
Where do you play? When the competitions happen, where do they get played, Kay?
Well, unfortunately, because of the pandemic this year, the nationals have all been cancelled, but we're waiting to see if they're going to go ahead. The juniors are on the Sunshine Coast in December.
Yep.
But we're still waiting. It's meant to be in July.
Well, hopefully it can happen.
Most of the major tournaments are all played in the district clubs around Adelaide.
I think table tennis is a sport that has a 100% participation rate in Australia. I don't think there's anyone that's never played table tennis.
No, it's good fun.
It is. It's great. Good on you, Kay.
I reckon Kay might like to share a bottle of wine with her sister. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a lovely idea.
Yeah,
Kay,
come on. Kay, you're the winner.
Yeah, Kay, you've got the carton of Gummersaw wine coming your way. Their 21st birthday this Saturday. They also have 60% off current and back vintage for Gummersaw wine, so make sure you check them out and enjoy that, Kay and your sister, as you reminisce over table tennis championships that weren't of years past.
Razor glass.
Razor glass. All right.
Excellent glass of Gummersaw wine.
Let's check traffic. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter, now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Sturt, got a breakdown on the Southern Expressway near Marion Road. Coromandel Valley, two-car collision, Main Road near Ackland Hill Road. Vale Park, got a two-car crash there, Northeast Road and Ascot Avenue. It's still causing some delays, and got a few blackouts in and around Brompton this morning. Keep that in mind if you are heading that way. Northfield, expect delays, Green Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. Speeds are down to 25 k's. LeBron James teams up with the Looney Tunes gang for Space Jam, a new legacy. Fast track from cinemas to your home. Space Jam, a new legacy, new to buy or rent on digital now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Enjoy one of the world's largest open-range wildlife parks on our day tour, Safari to Monado. Holiday Wonders is now offering the amazing wonders of safari to Monado Safari Park every week. Board your coach from numerous city and suburban locations and enjoy morning tea before meeting your new safari mates. Later, sit down to a picnic lunch. With Holiday Wonders, it's all included. Call Holiday Wonders to book your tour today.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joy Ring Fashions. The season is changing and we have a great selection of special occasion wear in sizes 10 to 24. We're all individual, so come in store and try on so that we can find the perfect fit to make you look and feel wonderful. After 50 years as a South Australian family business, we have the knowledge and expertise to help you choose the finest outfit to suit any occasion. Joy Ring Fashions for mothers and daughters, 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
Now, they're calling it the ultimate event. It's exclusive to Adelaide. We've already done our interview with Kate Sobrano, who's fantastic. Australia's finest singers, Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano and David Campbell, live on stage for one night only.
Warlow, Sobrano and Campbell will be on stage with a 50-piece orchestra hosted by Richard Wilkins in the ultimate event. It's part of the inaugural Bloom Festival with reserved seating on the Village Green at Adelaide Oval.
The three stars will sing solos, duets and create unforgettable moments performing together and alone for more than 2 hours, featuring more than 26 songs.
This really is the ultimate event, not to be missed thanks to Cochrane Entertainment. Book now for your reserved seating.
Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano and David Campbell, the ultimate event, October 23 at the Village Green, Adelaide Oval. Tickets on sale now at Ticketek.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Careers. Don't send it, ace it.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 to 9. Reasonable old Monday in Adelaide. Better than reasonable if you're a Port fan waking up on this Monday morning, contemplating first final. Adelaide Oval on Friday night, like our next guest. Bit of excitement around town. The host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch, joins us. Morning to you, Koshy.
Oh, thank you guys for your best wishes and ongoing best wishes over the next month. It's really appreciated. Thank you.
I didn't note any best wishes in there, actually.
Neither did I.
We're happy that you're happy, Koshy.
Yeah,
for
good.
now.
Oh, that's
for
close
now.
enough.
Yeah,
Close
that's the best we can do. Hey, we tried to get some more crowd capacity for you out of the Premier this morning, but he told us that it's extremely unlikely that it'll be lifted from 15,000. That is. How disappointing is that to hear for you?
Not disappointing. Obviously, we would have liked to have more, but we are in the hands of the authorities, the health advice. We're grateful just to have any fans and any members there, and I think we've shown in the past that even 15,000 Port supporters at Adelaide Oval sounds like a full stadium. So I think it's going to be great for the boys as they run out on Friday night, and will be great support. But it's we will take whatever we can get, and because we know the health advice in South Australia has been so good, and we've got nothing to complain about whatsoever.
So, Kochi, are you going to be in a position where you're going to be able to come to the game?
No. So
imagine if Port win this weekend, then they win an Adelaide prelim, and then Adelaide wins the rights to host the grand final. You don't get to come to any of the three games.
No. Well, we can't get too ahead of ourselves, and that's the issue.
1 week at a time.
I've sort of got a bit of a plan in the back of my mind, but I just hope that South Australia does get the grand final. Wouldn't it be fantastic at Adelaide Oval? It would just be stunning, and having the hotel attached to the ground, it's just a manna from heaven. It's sort of almost perfect made for any interstate teams to come and play and isolate and do it in a safe way. So we won't know until the end of the week when the AFL makes the decision.
Can I ask you a football question, Koshy? Do you think Port deserve more respect? Because looking as I just was during the ad break at the form over the last 10 weeks, Port have won the most games out of anyone. You've won 9 out of your last 10. You've won 6 in a row. And a lot of them against, the Bulldogs were almost odds on to be minor premiers a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Does it annoy you that people are still going, oh yeah, or do you think it's actually of benefit to the team to be a bit underrated?
Doesn't annoy me at all. It is a great reflection on the Victorian-centric media coverage of AFL. So I don't think we get the respect that we deserve, but that makes us more determined to actually succeed. And we built momentum. We got to this position remarkably because of the injuries we have. Like we average 4 or 5 surgeries a season because of collision injuries, which are unavoidable. Soft tissue injuries, you can blame your high performance team and things like that. Collision injuries are just in the heat of battle, nothing you can do. We've had 15 this year. We've had triple. So to actually get to this level and to just have some of our players coming back now in the last couple of weeks, it's a remarkable testament, I think, to Kenny and the coaching staff and the entire squad. But, we're happy to go under the radar, and we'll just do our bit.
The debate in Adelaide this morning is about how many football fans should be allowed at a finals game. Over in the eastern states, the weekend you guys have just had have been horrible in terms of the sort of fights that you've been having. The stakes have been a lot higher. It's spilled out into the streets. The scenes in Melbourne were awful. Sydney, there was some bizarre stuff going on. What did you see living there?
It's infuriating, absolutely infuriating to see it. And then this breach last night with 60 people going to church, for goodness sake, in Western Sydney, which is one of the hotspots and the lockdown area with curfews. You know, churches are doing Zoom sermons and everything. Technology is there and everyone's doing the right thing. And to have a couple of idiots sort of put everything in danger once again, and these protests are just mind-boggling. But yes, that is what is hitting the newses. What should also be hitting the newses is the record number of vaccinations in Sydney as well, which are just phenomenal at the moment. You know, between 100 and 150,000 vaccinations a day is just remarkable. So the silent, as is often the case, and you would find it, you know, on your show, the silent majority are really sensible and really supportive and community oriented, but it's the tiny minority of buffheads that get all of the coverage, and you know, you just don't want it to happen. It's a bad look, a bad message, but most of the community, the vast majority, is doing the right thing, which is great.
Yeah, we were saying before, the great logical flaw of it too is some of the people at these rallies, well, a lot of them, if not most of them, say they hate lockdowns and they don't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know, which one do you hate the most?
If you're on Twitter, follow the tweet of God.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
It's one of the producers of Seinfeld who's not on it. And anyhow, they had an American vaccine. I saw the same sign over the weekend here in Australia, God is my vaccination. And the tweet of God tweeted that photo and said, be seeing you soon.
Fantastic.
It's a classic. We just got to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to bring some humour back.
Absolutely.
Good on you, Koshy.
See you guys.
Host of Channel 7 Sunrise program. A very happy David Koch from this Monday morning. All right, it's 4 to 9. A time to go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
Goodwood Road, Wayville, and a new store now open on South Road, Morfett Vale.
Now, folks, we've told you before about acres of lawn.
Yes, good people.
They have it all. In fact, they have so much they've had to open a brand new shop and display centre.
Beautiful.
At Aldershot Road, and it's opening today, and it's huge.
Yeah, should get down there, Studley.
So are the grand opening savings. You could save up to 20% on Acres' own range of lawn and garden products.
That's a lot of money.
And even more great deals across the whole store on irrigation and landscaping.
I like a bit of irrigation.
So get in there today for the grand opening.
And manscaping, I like that too.
Acres of Lawn really is a family business that cares about your family.
Yes, they're good people.
So pop in and say hi to the team.
Good team down there, that's for sure.
And get huge opening savings.
Love a huge opening.
And with spring approaching, if you want to tidy up your garden and your lawn,
yes,
they can organise for one of their friendly staff to come to your home for a free lawn consultation.
Can't do better than free, Studley. And you reckon your lawn is gone, Stud?
My lawn is just, I'm not a green thumb. I can't grow things.
Really, Studley? You don't know how to put a sprinkler on?
No, but it's got clover and kikuyu in it.
Yes, well, I can see how hard it would be for you to put some weed and feed on your lawn, Studley.
I'm a disgrace in terms of growing lawns.
Disgrace in terms of laziness, that's for sure, Stud.
Acres of Lawn.
Yes, good people.
Check out the new Lonsdale shop and display centre on the corner of Aldershot Road.
Good road, that one.
And O'Sullivan's Beach Road.
Beautiful beach.
At Lonsdale.
Good Lonsdale.
Acres of Lawn.
Good acres.
Hey, we're almost out of time for not just the show today, but for you to reward those everyday heroes that work for the health and well-being of others with $1,000 thanks to Avanti Care's Healthcare Heroes. Hurry to the win page, FIVEaa.com.au. Nominate so they've got a chance to win $1,000 cash, all thanks to Avanti Care, and we can shine a light on their wonderful and selfless contributions. 2 to 9, we're out of time. Leon Biner's coming up, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
Census